that?
Greensboro.
Later.
Yeah. It's fairly easy, simple.
Yeah, I figured that. I actually just need it probably.
Yeah, I'll send you the info for like the one I have. That way you'll be able to hook it up.
All right, that's what's up.
What do I got over here?
What's going on, everybody? We just listened to a little Pac before we get started. You know, as Marcus said before the show, before we came on live, you know, Pac passed when 4 days ago in 1996. Damn.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get the rock thing going. Let's see, did I miss the time? Yeah, 1 minute after. Let's see if it'll get itself, click itself on together, or if I gotta go in and fix it. Let's see.
A bunch of board cube military apartment buildings. Oh, yeah, that's everywhere. I mean, unless you're Warren, what's up? Everybody in the audience, what's up?
There we go.
All these apartment buildings, unless it's like in a nice area, you already know they're gonna look like some straight project shit.
That'll do.
Oh, so Marcus, you gonna move? No, you said what? You didn't have what?
Oh no, going ahead. What were you asking?
No, I was gonna say, are you gonna move to Illinois so you can purge?
That's funny.
Just saying, like,
if that's what was really going to.
You know, people are calling it purge, and I get why, but I mean, sorry to be the person who has to say it, but that didn't say like you won't be charged or you won't be having to go through the court.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Hold on.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that shit. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into it. Let me go ahead and get the intro going. I gotta get rid of all these links. I got way too many links.
You were here because you have a question. Really get down to understanding this political matrix.
Out there, the stunt double. He walked out. He's got an oximeter on his back. I'm like, you gotta keep other. You know, Marcus said on his other show. You know, he was like, you know, American politics is simply pro wrestling.
You became afraid of everyone because people were reporting on each other.
We're living out Minority Report too as well. And you know what? You know why we know that, boss? Because we've been reporting on it. Yeah, I know.
All the black people in this country be willing to take a reservation.
That's what the Nation of Islam was asking for.
To put a couple of clips together.
It's crazy to see how much Martin Luther King really began to look like, damn, man, Malcolm was fucking right.
I mean, what is the elite's end game?
There's this assumption that as a black commentator or black journalist that you're not informed.
Relationships, that's a skill we have to learn.
It's even more kind of mind-blowing because we're supposed to be the multicultural space.
Trying to drum up money to keep the war machine going so they can keep the donors happy.
Yeah. Do the Chinese own part of that?
Began a long time ago. Ukraine has had a neo-Nazi problem for decades.
Proof of sanction, am I right?
I don't know if Domcopters will do it, but something's got to be able to save the world.
From the private industry here.
You know, like I say, people come on here and they can say stuff they don't normally say on their own shows, which is fine.
Oh, it's McDonald's. Whoop-de-doo.
Ooh.
And their cholesterol is going to go down. Yeah,
Look.
What happened? Buffering.
We only exist because we have the biggest military, kid.
And silencing a person like Julian Assange. Because it affects everybody. And today, last week, believe you me, because they know who you are. They watch. They got people that's going out there. They don't want you guys having the conversations that you're having on this show. Mm-hmm. So it affects the political matrix today.
Hello, 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 everybody. This is the Political Matrix. I am one of your hosts, Young Morpheus or Marcus Cage, whichever you prefer. Here with my good brother, colleague, and friend, Mr. Cy Lawson. How are we doing today, Cy?
What's going on, Marcus? Man, you know it's all good. It's a Saturday night. It rained all day, so you know I didn't get to I didn't get to do my usual, but it's all good. What's up with you, man? How was your Friday?
Oh, you know, for me it was the Sabbath, so observing the Sabbath, you know, just studying, resting, which I never do. If you guys can see, some of my bags have kind of went down a little, just for them to go back up later on in the week. Yipper is funny. Talking about Marcus, stay off the XXX sites and delete your cookies. That is not why my shit is slow. And I was gonna say, hey, Warren, if you want to hop on here, let us know, and I'll send you out the link. You know, this is kind of a loose show, so yeah, it's kind of free flowing. So I don't mind having money. I know the numbers are probably going to be a little low tonight. You know why, right?
Okay, it's a holiday.
You got Canelo. Canelo's fighting Triple G.
I was about to say the fight is on. You already know I'm gonna be paying attention to that too, low key.
I would say I ain't got all that pay-per-view and all that.
I ain't got all that shit either. I got the internet though.
Well, you got some kind of bootleg setup, whatever you done found.
Man, everywhere's a bootleg setup. You just search, or you tell the kids to search Reddit.
Well, I gotta remember you do got Jalen over there. Jalen know how to find all that shit.
Yeah, we watched the Dragon Ball Super movie off of Reddit link.
Oh, off of Reddit. So that's, and you gotta send that to me. You gotta send me how to find this shit because I do not know. You know,
I'm saying between. I think when the Lord comes to judge us, I said it before. It's gonna be Reddit, Twitter, and WhatsApp. When he sees what's on there, he's gonna be like, okay, nah.
There's somebody that reminds me of somebody's tweet they put up. They were like, it was like somebody like a meme and praying to God, and then God was like, "Wait a minute, y'all still alive?" He's like, "Damn, did I forget to kill y'all? You know what? I was meaning to kill y'all."
Exactly, I just forgot.
Damn it, I forgot to kill y'all. Y'all crazy ass.
Yo,
I want to hang out with Mr. Street. He got some talking about finishing up some ribeyes. Nice.
Oh, nice. Mr. Street, just send it, as the kids say, send the Addy. Post the Addy.
Exactly. You know, Mr. Streets, that sounds like he probably in. Where are you out of, Mr. Streets? So that way we can know. Let's see. And shout out to everybody out there. Yipper, Uncle Warren, Myra's mom, Jura Brown.
We got Free Thinker and Leonard on the Rockfin with the check-in.
Nice. I wanted to also what was it? Oh, congratulations to Warren. He hit his 1,000 on Rockfin, so very, very nice. Just went over 1,000 recently, so congratulations, sir. Glad to see that you're growing. Yeah, I mean,
very good.
We're actually doing not too bad too. We got a big jump from our premium one. And for those who missed it, go and check it out. We did a Rockfin exclusive. What was it? We had Steve come on and we talked 9/11. WTF really happened? Matt Marxist says America cannot be safe without the Bible. Correct. I completely agree. I mean, I look at it like this. Once you know the levels of corruption, if you believe that there's some kind of solution,
saving grace,
it's either, and I put it this way. Let's say that you think that it can be saved in a way which is still salvageable. I mean, you might be able to destroy everything and then reign over the ashes of what's left. That's a possibility. But to think that you're going to have some kind of revolution and there's going to be anything left, that right there, I don't really see that reality. Your thoughts, sir?
I mean, I agree. There's no that idea. We've discussed this a lot, so I don't want to belabor it too much. But for the people who just think that, oh, if we can get good people in, in these seats, and they can pass good laws and good policies, then things would be okay. But that's never going to happen. That's why I harp on just take care of you and your own. I know that sounds kind of selfish, but at the end of the day, you can't get groups together without bickering and beefing and if we need to go this way and that way. It doesn't seem to work. It doesn't seem to work well. So instead of trying to turn the whole ship, get your own ship and find shore.
Well, I want you to harp on it. I want you to explain, because sometimes and I just saw even on the YouTube side, we've got some new subscribers. So I want them to understand and be completely 100% clear on our standpoint on that, because there's still a lot of the rest of indie media that really has these different beliefs, and I don't want to say that they're intentionally misleading their audiences. I think that they actually believe this stuff. I mean, some other people I have conversations with, they think they look at some of these people as just being grifters. I really think that they believe what they're saying. And the reason why I believe that is because many of them I don't feel have left the country or have been involved in the government in any kind of way. Dragon style, what is that?
I seen Street talk about Miller High Life, so I just had to show him the Dragon style. It's a Jamaican beer.
Oh, I only know about the red stripes. Red beer.
I know, right? Those commercials are good. Yo, side note, we'll get back to it, but speaking of like, anytime they had like something Jamaican or West Indian, they never used the actual West Indian person. It was always some black person imitating. I was like, yo, there's plenty of them around. You could actually use you could use someone real. But anyway, going back to
you could say the same thing with Hollywood. They always use a black British person to play black Americans.
Oh, they don't. Hollywood, if there's one group they don't like, it's the male black American. They do not. I mean, it don't matter the movie. They will find somebody else unless they themselves put money into it. Like when I think of Malcolm X.
Yeah.
Right. I think it looked like Spike and then put their own money behind that, and that's why we saw Denzel in that portrayal. I could think of Ali with Will Smith. He put a lot of money into bringing that to the screen. With that, any other portrayals, like even
or even Coming to America with like Eddie Murphy.
Correct. Those are that's those guys. Other than that, like any other, it's a British dude, and I like all these guys. You know what I'm saying? I'm not Morpheus by night. That's right, Street. But it just is what it is. They just don't seem to deal with black men too much because God forbid the black man become too assertive. And it doesn't even mean he'll do anything. They just don't even want to hear that come from that particular person. They'll let black women go off all day, right?
Well, I mean, the Bible literally says, let's deal wisely with them.
Yeah.
least they overtake us, least they overtake us. I mean, that's the reason why, like, some of the people that we'll even have on that we'll agree with on a lot of things, I have to push back when they start saying, well, they're after all of us equally. Not equally. They don't give a damn about all of us. I agree. They're oppressing all of us. I agree. But there's some people in particular that they got a bullseye on their back, and being one of those people, we know who has a bullseye on their back. Says Hollywood doesn't like white women either. They always get fucked by a monster. Actually,
Paul Mooney is stupid.
Oh man. Well, what I notice is, I'll tiptoe and watching. I was looking back at like one of my older movies, and yes, we will get into the topics. It's a Saturday night, so let's just relax, have a little bit of fun with it. I was looking back to one of my older movies I used to like as a kid. It was called License to Drive. Who out there has seen License to Drive?
Oh my God, with the Corys.
Yeah, with the what is, I can't even remember
Corey
the name.
Feldman
The
and Corey Haim.
yeah, Corey Feldman and Haim. If you look at the cast of that movie in the starring roles, half of the cast of half of the starring spots are people call that Chris called tiny hats. And when you look at how is a population that's less than 1% of the population is representing half of a starring cast in multiple movies, I mean, statistically, that doesn't even add up. It's almost like they're making an attempt to look for specific groups of people first and foremost to put them into these roles, and then we'll fill it with some of these other people. But we got to make sure we fill it with enough of our people first.
Well, I was just about to say that too, because that's not merit-based or talent-based. Because somebody would say, "Well, look at the sports, look at NFL, NBA, little black guy." You know what? They had to actually step on the court, step on the field, throw a ball, tackle somebody, make a jump shot. You know, they had to do all these things in order to make it there. So it's not even just like, "Well, I like you." Maybe in some cases with coaches and the lower tier guys, but the dudes who primarily going to be on the court, a lot of it, most of it has to do with, you know, their talent. I'm not saying it's always like that, but the vast majority of times it is.
Sports is different than Hollywood.
Correct.
Because sports, you actually got to like prove something. A movie, you can pick whoever you want, and it doesn't
exactly.
have
And
to
that goes
prove it. Yeah.
And that goes to show again, at least in that realm, who the decision makers are.
Well, yeah, because it shows that like movies and music, stuff like that is subjective. You know, if me and you play 1-on-1 and you win 12-10, those are numbers. That is a fact. You won 12-10. You can't, but movies is subjective. I could love this one movie. Chris could love this one movie, but Yipper can hate the movie. I mean, it's everything is subjective. It's the same thing with music too. While we were talking about like these movies, the reason why I want to put this up because I know you've been good at tuning out a lot of stuff from some other, you know, some of the other people which we might not agree with as much. I still hear a lot of stuff, and I hear the perspective of the so-called left, what they believe. And even on the right too, because I'm hearing a lot of these libertarians, they still, like, remember back in the day we would hear these people talking about, yeah, we just need to keep our guns so that in case we have to fight the government back, that mentality is still out there. It hasn't went anywhere yet. And to kind of fold into that, you know, throw a shout out to the Bank sisters out there, Keisha and Courtney, much love to both of y'all. I was seeing...
They be putting in work, so shout out to them.
Yeah. Well, they were talking about how their Camp Dada thing basically almost got completely derailed because of all of these different concerns. Some of the concerns were about ways to not, oh, well, did you have handicap access for this? Did you have this? But the biggest thing which they were talking about that almost derailed the whole thing was there's a video where people are considering them transphobic, and like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. People are considering them, of all people, transphobic, and so I'm like, the fact that the left shows me that they're that weak, they're that sensitive, everything is feelings based. It tells me that I don't see these people going any damn where. What do you say, Morpheus? I have some latest news. I wanted your opinion on. Is there a way to send you a video, or I can link it here if it works? Well, if you, yeah, you can either send it to my email, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whichever one that you're on. If you're not on any of those, let me know, and I'll put my email in the chat. That way you can send it to me. But yeah, sure. Oh, Yipper said, yeah, I seen that vid. Yeah, you're telling me that the people who are sensitive, like that she was talking about menstruation and a mom of a transitioning kid is like, well, that's abusive, aggressive language or something. I'm like, what? That's something that they have. That's something that is a reality for them. And if two Black women can't even talk about the fact that they have issues sometimes, and with their body, their own personal body, and it offends you because you weren't born, a female, then that just tells me they don't have they don't have the power. These people are just too. In my opinion, they're just too fucking weak. I'm sorry. I'm just saying, y'all literally. I'm not saying that everybody out there is. I mean, there's some hard ones out there, but for every hard one out there on the left, out of 9 out of 10, 9 of them are weak as hell. And you got one hard one, and you know how that reality is going to work out. They're going to target the strong ones, get rid of them, and then mollywop the rest of y'all. So
I know it like you said, there's a lot of feelings that exist. Oh, speaking of which, I know this is a little off, but I wanted to ask, what was that MAGA communism thing that was trending earlier this week? I ain't paying no mind. I saw it a bunch of times.
I only paid attention to it just to kind of listen. So I mean, I'm looking at it like and I know what the goal is. I believe that Pasta his views are more on election reform. And if he can get some kind of election reform, that would be a single issue that MAGA people and Marxists could possibly get behind. But the thing is, when you're talking about MAGA people or a lot of these communists or Marxists, they're not single issue voters. So it's not going to work that way. The MAGA people are not going to deal with anything that a Marxist wants to do. And since there's not going to be any compromise, it's kind of a dead issue. I mean, no shade at all. I feel like when Pasta and Favre are doing a lot of their election integrity stuff in South America and other countries, it has a lot of merit. But we got to remember, this is the United States of America. This is a whole different ball game here with trying to have fair elections here.
Well, the thing about it is, we believe a lot of myths and half truths and stories here and outright lies. Until you just reject mostly all of it, you're going to hold out hope. And I don't want to be doom and gloom. But at the same time, placing faith in systems and people that are designed to work in the way they're working is just a little off to me. Build your own thing, do your own thing. You have to leave the system alone because it's designed and working efficiently as it should. Mm-hmm. There's little to no inefficiencies in the system. It only to you as the user or someone in it may feel that it's not working, but it is exactly as designed. You're supposed to be too frustrated to be able to do. They want you to be so frustrated and aggravated that you just do nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Or you just give in. What I'm advocating is not so much. What I'm advocating is not so much to give in. It's just acknowledge that shit is nasty, dirty, corrupt. You're never going to be able to get in there and clean it all up because it's run by who it's run by.
Well, the thing about it, it's like elections in some of these other countries, they're further enough away that they could push out some of the outside influence and be able to run a fair election. We got to remember, this is the source of the corruption. Any of the corruption that's going on in most of these other foreign countries comes from the corruption that's here. This is like the corruption factory. And so we got to remember here in Great Britain are the people which started off. Yeah, bro. All they did was literally watch it. And they were making critiques on Matt Walsh and just giving their perspective, which I felt, and that if you watch that video, I'm trying to remember what's their weird ass term. Because like now the trans people are making a term for everybody who's born naturally a woman. And so now we have to accept this term or else we're considered being hateful. But anybody who's born as a woman who still recognizes themselves as a woman or female, whatever, that you could tell in the video, they were scared to even say what their opinion is because they know how the trans, I guess we lost Chris. He'll come back in a sec, but they know how the trans community, how powerful the trans community is. And they literally just go through and bully the shit out of everybody. And so people are scared to even say anything back. Like now the new narrative I've seen that's been pushed is if you're a heterosexual male, born a male, and you don't want to date a trans woman, now you're transphobic and you hate trans people. And it's like, that's what you call, like in psychology, that's called wearing the belt too high. That's intentionally creating standards where everything is below the belt so that you push the argument in your favor. It's a mental tactic that's being used and being employed here, and everybody's just falling for it. And if you don't accept it, then you're considered to be a right winger. Let's see, what about focusing locally, even if it's a neighborhood? I do believe locally, depending on your neighborhood, there's still some things you can do, but as far as the whole entire system, there's not much you can do. If you want to do things like direct action, you want to feed the homeless, you want to set up programs to help everybody. Hey, Baba. Those are things that you could be effective with. You can teach people how to help, manage their budgets better and save money better and, start working kind of in networking with your own neighborhood, getting to know the people you live with and around and actually start to build relationships with those people. That's ways where you can have some kind of pushback. But this system it's done. Matt Marxist says the problem with people like Pasta is that they don't respect the power of the deep state. I'm starting to believe that a lot of these people do not respect or understand the level of power that these people have. That the only reason why in certain parts of Latin America or South America where they're able to kind of break free from the imperialism is the empire decided we don't need to deal with them necessarily anymore. So we can let that one go. And especially when they got so many other plates spinning. But let them find out there's some kind of other resource that they haven't completely, completely exposed and sucked away. And they'll be right back in those countries manipulating and scamming and cooing them and doing all that stuff. So that's the reason why I feel like because they're further enough away and they're impoverished and there's not enough, there might not be certain discovered resources which the U.S. can exploit. Yeah, they'll leave them alone. They'll let them have their little democracy. They'll just kind of play with it and kind of manipulate it a little bit from the outside. They're not going to invest in it, really invest in trying to control it or do anything unless there's something at stake. But as far as the U.S., no. Let's see. So I guess I will wait for Chris to get back in here. And I guess I'll give him a couple of minutes. And if he hasn't hopped in yet, then I will start in on our first subject. Let me hop over to Rockfin and respond to some of these comments. Oh, wow. Okay. Free Thinker 59, I see over there. Leonard Trust Fund, much love. Don't worry about the typos, Leonard. Said, boo, Joe Biden, hooray, beer. Opus comic. What else? Let's see if there's any questions in here for me. Just looking. All right, don't see any necessarily comments. yet, and I don't hear great live stream earlier. I don't know. I don't know if that's me or somebody else, but anyways, gonna stop chatting. All right, cool. So, all right, caught up with the Rock fan. Let's see. At Myra's mom, speak your mind. I don't think you'll hurt anyone over here. Yeah, over here, completely speak your mind. Feel free. This is like I heard somebody say, the moment you hear safe zone, know that it is not a safe zone. But over here, so we just let people do their own thing. And so we got Chris back. So which story did you want to start with, sir?
I don't know. I mean, we was getting ready to get into jokes early on about, this purge shit.
Oh yeah, so we might as well go ahead and start off with the purge thing. This purge law, basically, and let me pull up. It up
because I had some stuff that, like, I got a hard boot. Like, that was crazy.
I mean, and another thing is like, in the Hebrew Israelite community, a lot of people just been going crazy with it, and I'm like, oh, I need to do a video on both my channels to kind of push back.
What are they saying?
Oh man, they really thinking like the purge is about to happen. Like, yep, 2023, the purge is about to get going. And the one thing about it is, a lot of my brothers over there in the Hebrew Israelite community, when it comes to knowing the scripture, they can definitely slice and dice that thing. But when it comes to getting into politics, a lot of them are not as sharp in the politics area. And it's because most of them, before they came into the truth, were not very academic. We're not into politics. And I'm not trying to throw any kind of shade at anybody. They weren't. That just wasn't their thing. A lot of them were hustlers, drug dealers, gang members, all this stuff like that. And then when they got into the truth, they start reading the Bible and understanding ancient history. But as far as current history, they don't know a lot of that. Some of the stuff that you read, you can't focus on the headlines, get caught up with the headlines. You got to look what's in the bill, what it's actually talking about, and then go from there. And because a lot of go ahead.
Real quick, if I could just jump in real fast, they just looked at certain things and ran with it as opposed to, looking a little bit deeper into it.
Yeah.
Because I was reading through the same article and other ones. I guess, it's fun to joke. We can get to the jokes later.
I pulled this one because it's shorter.
Coming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. Me too.
Yeah, but there's so many of them because I figured this is one. Yeah, because I figured this one's short enough where I can just read the whole thing for everybody and they can get a gist of what's going on. I mean, for the most part, this is the right wing over exaggerate, and I'm gonna show you why they're saying what they're saying and what people are missing in this completely. Don't get me wrong. Don't think that there's not. Because to some of my Hebrews brothers out there is some prophecy that's going on here, but they're seeing it from they're getting the wrong prophecy. Myra's mom says, yeah, they expect everyone to look at the headline and not get into the meat of the story when usually the meat is only about 8 paragraphs down. Yeah, and in this one, it don't even take 8 paragraphs. It's like literally like a couple of sentences in. I'll show you what I mean by that. It says Illinois is passing a law that some would say will make history. Some will say. So it's telling you it's already suggestive how they interpret it. Illinois is looking to be the first state in the United States to abolish cash bail. That's what they're doing. They're abolishing cash bail. And the consequences of passing such a law have many believing the state could mirror the horror movie The Purge. In the film, citizens are given 24 hours to commit all the crimes they want. Now, what I just read, like I told you, we didn't even have to get into the second paragraph. Right here already, it's telling you they're getting rid of cash bail And people are equating getting rid of cash bail for being able to commit all the crimes you want for 24 hours.
Misha.
That's a major leap. Let's see, shalom, brother. Anything you want to add before I keep going?
No. You go ahead.
All right, yeah, I'll read a little bit more of this because, I mean, it doesn't say a lot. I mean, on January 1st of 2023, the SAFE-T Act will commence in the state of Illinois. This act will get rid of cash bail system in its entirety. The name SAFE-T is an acronym for Safety, Accountability, Fairness, and Equity Today. Those that instated the act believe it will reduce arrests and limit those put away based on crime, which I disagree with that. There are 12 non-detainable offenses where the new law would establish cash bail. The law includes second-degree murder, arson, drug-induced homicide, robbery, kidnapping, aggravated battery, burglary, intimidation, aggravated driving under the influence, fleeing and eluding, drug offenses, and threatening a public official. I am very concerned about an increase in violent crime, but again, I do want to stress that there is still time to fix this, and the state and the state's attorney are working very hard as we have been before. Hold on one second.
Oh, I took my link down for that article. Let me go and pull mine up too. I don't know what's going on with the internet today, but all of a sudden it wants to be done. All right. Marcus, you still there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just had to step away for a second. But okay. Let's hop back in. So, well, in the gist of it, what that basically said is there are 12 different laws that they are no longer, that it's going to affect. Meaning these laws, more than likely, you're going straight to jail. There's not going to be any bail. There's not going to be a ticket. You're going straight to jail. And that means you don't have the option of saying, oh, well, my bail is 100,000. Let me put down 10,000 and get out. No, it means you're going to sit your ass in jail until it happens, until your court proceeding. And the specific laws, let me hop back to it. Oh, there it is over there. Let's go back to sorry, I got it backwards. It means that these are the ones where you will be out awaiting trial.
I was shaking my head wrong. Correct.
Yeah, you'll be awaiting. You'll be awaiting trial. It does not mean that the trial goes away. So for the law of second-degree murder, which means you did not intentionally murder somebody, arson, a drug-induced homicide. So that means that like you sold drugs to somebody and they use those drugs in OD. Robbery, kidnapping, which a lot of times and when they say kidnapping like that, this isn't talking about aggravated kidnapping. Aggravated kidnapping, when you put a gun to somebody, you take them up and all that, that is different than this kidnapping. This kidnapping is when somebody is like, basically like you're standing in front of somebody and you're telling them, no, you can't leave, and you're arguing back and forth. That's technically kidnapping. I know a lot of people don't know that, but that's what that means. Aggravated battery, burglary, intimidation, aggravated driving under the influence. So that means you will not be going to jail. Oh, well, fleeing and eluding. So if you're running from the cops, you get arrested, they're going to let you out. But you still have trial. Drug offenses and threatening a public official. Before you threaten a public official, you're going straight to jail. So what that means is, and that's the reason why I said I disagree with the part about them thinking crime is going to drop. I think that crime is probably going to increase because some of these people are going to think they got away with it. And they're going to think, oh, well, if they're letting people out, then that means I don't get a trial. What that means more than likely is they're going to let you out, let you sit at home, and instead of having you actually detained. That's basically all that means, is you're going to be sitting at home. And that's the reason. Now, what you're going to start seeing is you're going to start seeing less people charged with second-degree murder. You're going to start seeing people being charged with manslaughter instead, voluntary manslaughter, or first-degree murder. That's what you're going to start seeing. You're going to start seeing people instead of being charged with robbery, you're going to start seeing them being charged with armed robbery more and more and more. Oh, well, he threatened to punch me. Well, now that's armed robbery. Watch. You're going to start seeing that kidnapping go to aggravated kidnapping. You're going to start seeing that aggravated
battery is going to be assault.
Assault or attempted murder. Watch. That's what you're going to start seeing. The charges are just going to start switching. It does not mean, now you might have some people for some drug offenses that they get out, maybe they get a ticket and then have to come back to court. I guarantee you, this fleeing and eluding is going to turn to more cops just shooting you. That's what's going to happen. So that there's not going to be any catching you and letting you out.
Myra, and I think I saw something about this, and Myra's comment about well, first let me just read that. She said they put you on the ankle box here in Cincinnati to await your trial. Ankle box, for those who don't know, are the ankle monitors, right?
Yep.
At home detention, where
that's what they're going to do to you.
Now, I was going to say, I think I remember, I would have to look this up separately. I didn't think about it till now. I believe I saw a story about ALEC work, ALEC, American Legislative Exchange Council. I think I saw a story in which they were exploring alternatives to cash bail. And I believe one of their early recommendations to this extent was ankle monitors and technology, so this might be what we're seeing, what may be called the purge, maybe like a windfall for these electronic companies. So before we jump to conclusions on this, we really should look at some of the ancillary, if I'm using it correct, like
ancillary
industries around this thing, because now we got to see, look, was there an order for more of these devices? Because what you're talking about, especially in a city like Chicago, you know what I'm saying? You're going to need a lot of them shits. You're not just going to need like a few hundred.
Well, that's what it is. I think that they're going to be going to exactly what you're saying. I remember hearing about that out of ALEC also. This is just another way for, also another thing is, if you are sitting out of court and you incur more crimes, I guarantee you, if you really read through the legislation, which I haven't had the time to read through it, which I need to get with Allie and have her kind of go over a little bit more, I guarantee you're going to find that if you break the law while you're on this non-detainable status, that's going to void the non-detainable status and you will be locked up. I guarantee you it's going to be something in there like that. Yeah, Mr. Streets, he says, if you leave home with the ankle box, they won't look for you until 48 hours, though. I bet you these new ones are going to be a little different. That's the reason why I think that they're that's the reason why I believe that they're up for doing something like this, because they've obviously figured that out, that, okay, all we got to do is tweak this and tweak that, and we got some new technology. Jared Brown says fascism is embedded in this rich control society, and fascism will always push back against any social progress. Yeah, their goal is probably more than likely the prisons are probably a little over full. Well, not even prisons, the detention centers, because this isn't empty in the prisons. This is the detention center. And I guarantee you, Cook County, with all the shootings and murders and all the stuff that goes on there, drug crimes and robberies, Cook County is probably full. And they're probably just trying to figure out something to kind of lessen the load so they don't have to just start releasing people. So they're probably keeping all the people with the hardcore crimes, what they know this is a solid lock. Also, some of this stuff is going to be up to judges' discretion. And so if it's judges' discretion, They can decide, no, second thought, we think that we can hit this person with this charge and that charge and probably need to keep them in. So the whole idea of thinking that this is a purge, that's a little far-fetched, but will crime get a little bit worse because of this? In my mind, no doubt. See, we have a lot of people. Yeah, go ahead.
Or you know what? Marcus, it just dawned on me. Is that Governor Pritzker, is that his name?
Yeah, J.B. Pritzker.
Is he Republican or Democrat?
He's a Democrat.
Okay. It just dawned on me, too. Maybe this is a fucking political strategy to make sure the Republicans take over.
Well, I wonder. Well, it's confusing right now.
Yeah,
who's doing what?
it
Because
is.
honestly, the Republicans, how they've been acting, it's like y'all literally have the Democrats and Biden on the ropes, but yet now you guys are coming out with all these policies that are like literally going to give them legitimacy to be able to hang on to power. And it's like all you had to do was just sit back and not touch, just not do anything, and you guys could have won. Not that I really give a shit about either one who wins, because I think both of them are fucking horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do I want to get beat to death with a bat, or do I want to get stabbed to death? Either way, it's not a good option. So it doesn't really matter. We are heading to Panem or Hunger Games. Oh, eventually. Hey, Ruby, good to see you in here. Yeah, he's a Dem from a very wealthy family. What it is you have some of these people who are stuck in theory land, and they've had enough people around them to tell them, hey, if we just do this and do that, things will just be different. And we won't have these problems that you're thinking. Like how you have some of those people who feel, let's just abolish all prisons. And when I heard that, I was like, are you really mean like completely like no more prison at all? I mean,
wait till we get into like production.
That would be the purge. That really would be the purge if we got rid of all prisons, because
then you have some hardcore dudes who really don't give up about being, and they be outside, and that's what you really don't want.
I'm like, I mean, I don't know how many people out there listening to the sound of my voice grew up in the kind of areas I did, but y'all really want the wolves to come out if you do shit like that. The real wolves, the kind of people who, like, you remember Paid in Full, right, Chris?
Of course.
Now, for those who don't know about Paid in Full, spoiler alert, one of the dudes literally kidnaps. One of the dudes in there, his own nephew gets kidnapped from one of his uncles. And old boy kills his own nephew over trying to get money out of one of his other nephews. There are people that are that grimy out there that will kill a little kid to rob their wealthy nephew. And I'm like, I don't think like these theory people have calculated these type of people. The kind of people who will literally put their mom out on the street and pimp her. I don't think y'all know that these are some real wolves that are out here. And some of these people, once you get to a certain point, you're not gonna have a bunch of hugs and therapy, and they're gonna turn and repent from their ways. That's not happening. Some of these people are just too far gone. There is a such thing as too far gone. Yeah, Myra said, do I want chlamydia or gonorrhea? That's what you're dealing with. And here's the sad thing. In America, huh?
No, I just said, damn, Myra.
I know, damn, that was kind of a rough one. And I see Atras in the building. What's up, brother? But in America, it's like it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And for many of us, there's only mild changes in our day-to-day life from deciding to pick left or right. The difference is when you deal with some of these other countries over here, if they pick the wrong superpower, if they don't align with the superpower, then another superpower is going to basically come in and invade them and take this and do that. And so they are literally forced into having to choose the lesser of two evils. We technically don't, you know. We in America, we technically, it's like it is what it is. I can tell you, for me personally, I have not seen any difference in my personal life from Biden to Trump, literally virtually back to Bush. I have not noticed a difference. Zero.
I can't tell you. Like,
yeah, Yipper says, is Charles Manson still alive? Do you want white meat or dark meat? I don't know. Go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong. The differences, sir.
Ain't nothing to correct. I mean, I could just only add to it. But
sure,
calling it a purge is funny because at the same time, you're still going to get arrested. You know what I'm saying? The cops are still going to be pointing guns at you. People are still going to be calling the cops. You will get out. In fact, this is actually kind of setting you up to do dumb shit.
Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is.
And you're going to bury yourself on some, like, you know, you're going to bury yourself, and then you're actually going to go to jail for prison for a long time. So, I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. And not for nothing, though, it seemed like Illinois was already, Chicago was already on some purge shit anyway.
Exactly.
Honest, just like the Bronx, Brooklyn, like them play LA.
LA too.
I mean, if we talk about LA, look what just happened at Roscoe's earlier this week. I believe that was earlier this week. You know, the artist,
or either this week. Yeah, it was earlier this week. I was thinking it might have been maybe
something should be happening, but
over. I think it was like Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, but earlier this week, rapper or artist PNB Rock, rest in peace, unfortunately. He was shot and killed in a robbery in Roscoe's in Los Angeles. I guess I don't know what I don't know which
I'll tell you this. I know people out here and they're like, yo, I grew up in the hood. I don't even go to that Roscoe's over in Crenshaw. I don't go there.
You're like the fifth person I heard say that this week.
Yeah, I know a lot of people out here who's like, yo, we're from here and we don't go to that spot. Jewelry or not.
Correct.
But these people come from out of town and they just, like, I look at it like this. Everybody here knows the rough part of their town wherever they grew up. And some people actually, they live in that rough part, so it's the different story. But if you got, like, say, two bad parts and you don't go over to this other part, I mean, it's like when I lived in Jacksonville. I knew you don't really want to hang out on the north side if you're not from the north side. I mean, it's the same thing like here. You don't go and hang out in certain parts of Compton, Watts, wherever, if you're not from there. And it's the same thing. I don't know why people think, oh, well, I'm from the hood in, say, Philly, so I can just go out to, and I think he was from Philly, right? I don't remember. I'm from Philly, so let me just go up to, some part of Harlem. And well, not Harlem now, that's kind of a bad example, but the Bronx. Let me just go run up to the Bronx. That's not a smart move.
Some of this PPP money went to bringing some of them burners up north. I'm convinced. Like, it's just crazy. And again, PNB Rock was doing an interview. I don't remember who he did the interview with not too long ago, but he was saying how in LA they was kind of lining him up already. Like, it looked like they were trying to rob him at another time. And so you know, it's,
yeah, you got to pay attention to that. I mean, especially
well, the thing is, if you're
how,
not
how
from
many
LA,
rappers have gotten, how many rappers just everywhere have gotten killed over like the past 2 years?
yo, if I was them, like I'm not going anywhere without official security detail. I'm telling you, I'm posting my location to one place. I'll be on the complete and total opposite end of town. You know, shit like that.
Yeah, to answer Mr. Street, no, I honestly I haven't went to none of the Roscoe's. That's just not. I'm like, yeah, I could take it or leave it if I don't like lines like that. And that's one thing, like people out here, they like, ooh, it's a super long line. So I definitely want to go there. I'm gonna take half of my damn day to go sit in a line just to go eat food. No, nope. I don't have that much time to just waste. So nah, I don't go no places. There's another place I can't. Portos.
Marcus, look, and
Portos
since we're
is the
on
same way.
this, there, Denver says, and on the Rockfin, Denver says there was one Kroger in Atlanta that had the name the Murder Kroger years ago. Had friends and family down there, like, so that's what they were calling the Kroger, the Murder Kroger. Like, you know what I'm saying? If shit get nicknamed like that from the streets, you know that's because shit be going down in them places. Like, that's not just one incident and it got a nickname. No, it's probably happened a couple of times. I almost got jacked by some females in the Bronx in the alley. They was cute though. Streets is stupid.
That gets you caught up every time. I mean, that's honestly when I first got to Jacksonville, that's how they used to do it. You meet some girl in the club and she's like, hey, let's go back to my place. You go back there, and next thing you know, it's a couple stick-up kids. I mean, and they used to do Navy guys like that, like crazy. I see Denver says shared some of the music with another guest and continued to thread from others. Right on. That's what I'm talking about. But I mean, I grew, like, I remember when I was in boot camp, Cabrini Green was still standing back then. And we left the base and we went down to Chicago, and one of the cats we went down there with, he separated off, went another direction, ended up getting robbed and getting like stomped out to the point where he lost his eye. I mean, you don't go around these spots if you're not from these spots. You never know what's going to happen. There's always these wolves out there. Yeah, and I agree with what Ruby said. Ruby says, I think they're purposely letting the crime get worse. I think maybe some of these people are not that bright and don't get what they're doing is going to make crime get worse, but some of them do know what they're doing. Or some of them know that, like, I'll give you a perfect example. I won't say who, but I know somebody where they would tell me that for certain major projects, they would calculate how many deaths per year that they were going to have and just factor that into the cost of doing business. And you're already saying, yeah, I know people are going to die, but, you know, we're willing to, you know, that's the cost of doing business. And I feel like this is the calculations these type of psychopaths actually make.
Misha, what's up, man? Misha said not a good idea to wear all your drip to that place and have your girlfriend, you know, post the location on the gram. That's true too, but unfortunately, we live in this era where everybody's got their camera on and, you know, and recording. So with that being said, even if she didn't do that, there were a bunch of people in that Roscoe's. There were several of them who recognized PNB Rock. So even if his girlfriend did not post their location and all that, it was already known to the locals that he was there. You know, I'm pretty sure. But to your point, though, it wasn't a good idea. She shouldn't have done that. You know,
what's that old DMX line? Walls have eyes, buildings have ears. I mean, when you're in the hood, word travels fast. Word travels real fast.
Especially when you're on that type of time and you live that kind of lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like, you looking, oh, there's a Vic, you know, these rappers in town. I mean, just look how many of them get caught out in LA. Didn't Pop Smoke die in LA?
Yep.
Several of them do. Big. I mean, going back to even Big. This so many of them die out there. Yo, don't play with California like that and think just because they got the Hollywood sign and you see a couple fucking planted palm trees that it's sweet out there. It's not.
Well, people don't. When you're on vacation out here, people don't realize the level. Like, you can come out here and you could do great. You could do really, really well. And the thing is, just as well as you can do, there is no floor to how bad you can do. There's no floor out here. So you got people who are literally sitting, if they don't have this $300 by the end of the day, them and their family about to be homeless. You got people out here, they don't care.
Or your plug gonna come looking for his money.
Yep.
Because you got that shit on consignment. So you gotta pay somebody, player.
Or you got people out here who, because of the gang culture out here, they want to make a name for themselves. And so they pop you, people are like, oh shoot, don't mess with so and so. So they do that. I mean, you never know. It could have been. You got to remember, there's like 4 or 5 different gangs which are right in proximity to that Roscoe. and I'm pretty sure everybody, it was like they probably looked at him like a sweepstakes.
I'm sure.
Who's gonna get to him first?
Momi walked in there, but again, to the point, to Yipper and to Misha's original point, it isn't smart to walk into these places with a bunch of working class people, maybe even some unemployed people, poor people, you know what I'm saying, wearing their entire life around your neck. You know what I'm saying? That's going to make people feel a certain way. If some of those people, if they sold every single thing they have, all of their possessions, probably wouldn't even come up to like $30,000 altogether. And here you come walking in here with $200,000 just on your neck alone. We didn't even get to your wrist or your rings, or the cash in your pocket.
Or taking your vehicle and stripping it down.
Yeah. So it's just not really smart. It's
And then that's not only just your stuff. What about your girl stuff too?
Exactly.
And then if they get the keys, they get the key to your hotel room. They thinking, well, even if he ain't wearing it on him, shoot, we can get to his hotel room and raid that.
And after everything that happens, if you're not walking around with actual legitimate security, you're just looking to be gone. So it's either stay where the wealthy stay, where the chances of that is not happening, or you could become a victim. So just choose wisely.
Oh, that's right, Bob. I forgot. I gotta send that link to you. I was seeing some stuff in here about WEF and United Nations. You gotta remember, WEF, United Nations, they're all coordinated. Masonic groups, they're all coordinated. All this stuff is all coordinated. So when you say one, I actually tell people, don't even focus on the WEF. WEF is just a tool that the Illuminati uses. Masonic organizations, they use the WEF, they use the United Nations, they use all of these.
Those are their vehicles.
Exactly, those are their vehicles. It's the same as you being a celebrity or somebody who's ultra rich and you got 100 cars. They all get you to where you're going. That's how they use all these organizations.
And you own all of them.
You own all of them.
Even if you let somebody else drive it, it's still your car.
Let's see what Denver says. Could be.
When I say, and Marcus, let me just add this last thing to it. And when I say security, I mean, I'm talking both, right? Like an actual good, legitimate security company. Or if you know where you're going, then you got to go to the hood. Send somebody to the hood to find that hood security to actually provide you some cover or a pass. You got to pay for it, but hey, it's better you pay that money if you're going to be in those places you want to be seen. You know what I mean? And to Street's point, his people should have been told him, yo, Dre, you out in LA, don't go there.
Or you could even do this. You got that kind of bread. You can't bring, you know, I'm trying to think of a better term than what if I could just use the terms I know. You can't bring hitters from where you grew up. Just fly them out with you. Bring your own, you know. And that way you going ahead, you go get you a couple of burners when you get out there. You got your own protection.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to worry about, oh man, I got fucked up and they robbed me. No, because your own people are gonna make sure you're good. Because you already taking care of them. And let them, because here's the thing. People look for easy targets. Plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be a fucking easy target.
Yeah, for real, man. You know, and you know, speaking of, you know, that tied into the purge topic that we were talking about for people wondering how, you know, we went on to that topic. Because again, people are already getting shot and killed, you know, on camera.
Mm-hmm.
So we already somewhat in that purge already. I don't think we even need the laws to change to even say that.
No, Denver has a comment over here that says could be corruption rather than crime per se. I think there was some investigation just shut down in Cali. Like the public person doing the investigation had her house raided by the cops. All research confiscated. She probably had dirt on gangs operating with the police force. This is one of the most corrupt cities. Period. Actually, I don't even want to say cities. This is literally probably the most corrupt state there is in the country.
You think so?
Oh yeah. The reason why I would say this is the worst is because New York, you got NYC. Okay, there's some corruption there. There's stuff that goes on there. But when you get up to like Albany and Syracuse and things,
there's a lot of corruption there. There's probably more corruption up there than the city.
Yeah, but like what I mean is it's on the level of the corruption here out here. It's in every aspect. It's in every aspect. So there you might have more white collar corruption. You might have some business fraud. You got stuff like that, more scams going on. Here it's corruption down to every cop, down to every prosecutor. You got people out here who just waiting to find a wet spot in a grocery store to slip and fall on. I mean, you got people who are, everybody is looking for that payday out here. And so everybody has their own different type of hustle. And when you make it, I mean, Cali is literally the most expensive place in the country, especially like Audra says, you know, LA, San Francisco, Sacktown, San Diego. I mean, you get, especially San Francisco, how expensive it is to live up there.
Yo, a Trez just posted, I think, on Twitter earlier this week, his registration. I was like, the amount, I was like, yo, that's crazy.
Yo, you want to go get fast food, like on average, say you want to go to McDonald's and get you a value meal. You're paying close to $20 by yourself. That's how it is out here. You want to, okay, I'll give you another one. Say you go to say a shitty ass Taco Bell and just get like, what is it, the little like number one or number two, it's like 3 tacos and a drink. You're paying like $15 for that. And so, I mean, everything is steep out here. Everything is steep out here. I mean, very easily, if you find a studio or 1 bedroom under $1,200, you got a good deal.
Oh yeah, I would. Out here, down here, you won't find that anymore. Like at this point, your roommate paying that amount.
Right. But you're in a little nice little area too, though. I'm talking about bad areas.
Me too. I'm talking about in the hood that's not far from here. Like
oh really? Because like I know like Watts is right next to me. Compton's not that far. Even in like Compton, you're still paying about $1,200 for a studio.
Yeah, you have to go out west near like where they burn all the damn sugar cane. So yeah, you can get you'll get cheap ass rent, but you're gonna have to deal with that fucking smell, and all that sugar burning smells like ass. And that's
Well,
all
imagine
you can
this.
smell.
Say you go out to say Santa Monica.
Yeah.
Santa Monica, you're looking at like $1,500 for a 1-bedroom.
Hmm?
Santa Monica, you're looking like $1,500 for a 1-bedroom.
Oh,
You
Warren.
got a lot of people who paying about $2,000 a month for a 1-bedroom.
Oh, Warren, if I told you what my people's is renting his apartment in Brownsville for, you go nuts. Even I'm like, wait, what? That's Brownsville. You charging what?
Yeah.
Yo, and Brownsville is not New Brooklyn either. You know what I'm saying? Like Brownsville is still very much Brownsville.
Let me check this. Denver sent over. I think it's funny when you see officials, going after each other. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It probably is more expensive. It's probably closer to. He said in Santa Monica. It's probably closer to that. It's probably about 1,800. But yeah, San Francisco. I don't know what them people are doing up there. I don't know how they living up there.
They on bath salts. They just really good on the computer.
$2,400 a month for a 1-bedroom up there. Like I've seen homes that would be in KC, a $40,000 home go for like $750,000. I don't know what the hell is going on. Well, what it is you got all the Silicon Valley people who they're pricing everybody out.
Their salaries are good, and they're competing for places, and they don't mind overpaying. Look, you'll say, "Oh, I'll pay."
I think they're overpaying on purpose to push people out.
On some level, but if you don't want to be too far from where you work, or if you want to be close to a lot of where your coworkers are, then you'll pay, especially if you have it. But the shit is it's crazy, man.
Wow, this is funny.
Yeah, New York and San Francisco are similar in price, although San Francisco, correct.
Yeah, San Francisco.
San Francisco, you may get, at least with San Francisco, you may get a little bit bigger place though. In New York, I could tell you, we're dealing with like big closets as living spaces. And they come up with all these catchy gadgets, right? Beds that come from the ceiling, that fold out on the wall, and da-da-da-da. Motherfucker, if I come home after a late night, you think I'm gonna wait for the bed to drop out the goddamn ceiling? Yes. Especially after you had a little bit to drink. Man, listen.
Wow, yeah, this is that article that Denver just sent. Shout out to Denver, thank you. Yeah, this is showing that corruption thing going on where they were literally going out at, what's her name? Oversight Commissioner Patty Giggins. That sounds like a Simpson name. There's also a search to home Los Angeles County Supervisor Sheila Kuhl, as well as officers at the LA County Hall of Administration, Peace Over Violence headquarters, and LA Metro headquarters. Yeah, the corruption it's real out here. I'm telling you, it's so real out here, and you see it all the way down to like how it says here, county supervisor. I mean, and speaking of that, I guess that'll roll over into that one article.
Did I send that one to you? Or you want me to
no,
post
you didn't send it, or just go ahead and put it on the screen and I'll share it. And
I'm about to put it on there right now.
Okay, every blue state has imploded, not an accident. Yeah, that's the thing. The blue states, but see, this is one thing that we make a mistake in looking at. The blue states have imploded, and a lot of the red states have never improved. I know, like you look into.
Well, to that. Look, you know what? To that extent, right?
Yeah.
And I hate that. Side note: I hate that they put Jay-Z's name at the top of the article, but it is. But anyway, going back about the blue state have imploded. Yeah, they may have imploded, but here, let's just say, Florida is not necessarily like a a red state per se, but at the same time, what's going on here is not cool either. The property values, the salaries, and all that shit, it hasn't people ain't
budged,
making it any better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And fine, we don't have to deal with some of the stupid more shit that we have to deal with, like from the Democrats. But still, yo,
You still got
DeSantis for
bullshit
all
to
the
deal
shit
with
he's done
yeah.
regarding. Correct,
Yeah.
but like even DeSantis, right? He's a favorite on one side. You know, DeSantis is a favorite on one side for the COVID shit, but on all this other shit, he keep going into the culture wars, and quite honestly, that shit don't help nobody. And he'll come back up later. But I really wanted to get into this story because this is you've talked about this with our guest from last year. This has to do with wine. No, how do you say the county that starts with a W?
Wyandotte County. This is
Wyandotte?
Wyandotte County. It's off of the Wyandotte Indians, which there's actually tribal reservations still in the city, which ironically has a casino and a Indian burial ground. But that's a whole nother story. But yeah, this is where I grew up actually, and we used to complain about these cops all the time. No, that's Kansas City. I mean, it's a lot of corruption here. People do not realize how bad it is, and you know, like everybody thinks about like New York's with the pat downs and all that shit like that. You were getting the same kind of stop and frisk type shit where there also. So
I just want to read some of the article here, right? So
go ahead. I'm gonna step away and grab some coffee real quick, and I'll be right back.
All right, cool. Starts here. Roger Golubsky, a retired homicide detective in Kansas City, Kansas, was arrested by federal authorities on Thursday. Golubsky is charged with kidnapping and sexually assaulted 2 women over 20 years ago. You know, obviously this goes back to the late 90s and into 2002. This guy worked for law enforcement for like 35 years. So he was part of his, you know, he was called a dirty cop. Part of that, he was accused of abusing and exploiting vulnerable Black women, AKA prostitutes. You know, these guys be having a thing for these Black women. You know, Clinton did too. It's very weird. They won't mess with them like that, but they love doing the you know what with them. Anyway, we talked about this. We talked about this case in Kansas City a long time. Cece, one of our guests who was on, she's very active in that community in Kansas City, and she was constantly talking about the corruption that was going on there. How Jay-Z fits into this is that his Rock Nation actually put some money into helping bring the cop to justice. You know, so that was one of the good ways. I mean, you know, I don't really like talking too much about the celebrities and what they do as it pertains to like social shit like that. But, you know, every once in a while, you know, they do something good with their money. This is one of the things. You know, they did help put that cop in prison, or he will be put in prison, which is good for him. But at the same time, you know, these are one of those stories about police corruption and treatment of Black people and the abuse of police. Not abuse of the police, abuse by the police. These things like are often missed. You know what I'm saying, by a lot of circles, because this is Kansas City, has to deal with Black folks, and you know the Black Lives Matter people, they don't really give a fuck about that. Oh, Marcus, we gotta talk about that too.
Yeah. What, Black Lives Matter?
Yes. Did you hear?
No, I didn't hear anything about it. Yeah, I guess I'll add a little context to this also. A lot of people don't like, he had not only that, but like planting evidence on people and just brutality cases, and it was a lot that this dude was involved in. And with Rock Nation coming in, they actually uncovered a lot more than just this. So I would expect to see more stories like this coming out. Because just like how we were always talking about how racist the cops were growing up, they literally found that, they were finding evidence to support what we were saying. They were seeing that many of these cops were not only just racist, they were officially members of the KKK who were in, is this KC or Baltimore? No, this is Kansas City. Oh, well, I don't know about the whole, about the BLM thing, but we were literally saying that no, these people, and it wasn't just the cops. It was the cops. It was what are they called? Stenographers. It was county clerks. It was prosecutors, the defense attorney. So when you get a public defender, they were involved in this. This went to state legislators. This had a lot of people, and it showed that there was a history of people who were Klan members years back who kept continuously putting more and more Klan members actively into the police force. And I guarantee you, if they start investigating into more of these police departments and sheriff departments, they're going to start finding this trend more and more and more. And so when we always wonder why there's this sorry, that's my coffee in the background. We wonder why there's this disparity between the amount of the sentencing that people are getting. This is why, you have racist cops who are intentionally looking specifically in certain areas. You have a legal system which is racist also, and then you have judges who were throwing, and then you factor in the jury pool, which is often selected. Some of them come from, if not a racist lens, what's the word? Kind of more of a bias perspective, because how the media portrays a lot of these things. The media portrays one side to be all the criminals. And so when they walk into that jury box, their mentality is, well, these people always commit crimes, so more than likely this person's guilty, without ever questioning if maybe this cop set this up, if there's lying, if there's a lot of these things aren't questioned. So that's the reason why you have these situations which go this way. But it's good that they uncovered this, but I guarantee you there will be more. Let me see. I think I sent it to myself. What CC had kind of did a little TikTok about it. Let's see if I can find it. I think I retweeted it or something, but in the TikTok that she did, it covered a lot of that information. And it showed like not only just the, and I'm not saying that this minimizes it because that, the two women are focused on, but it shows the totality that it was a lot more that was going on. I'm trying to see, I don't see it on this one, but I don't know, maybe we'll try to get CC back on here shortly. I think I'll just hear Chris pop back in. Hold on. Yeah, there he is. But once I have I'll try to talk to CC and have her come back on, because I guarantee this is going to lead to more.
I don't know what's going on, but that shit just happened. It's just weird as fuck. Anyway.
Yeah, I was telling them.
You should bring her back on.
Yeah, I was telling them that this exposed a lot of the KKK, which was involved in the in the police force and stuff like that. So yeah, $12 million. It was a $12 million suit they ended up having to pay out on behalf of this retired detective. And then after that, after he left from the KCK PD, he went out to Edwardsville, which Edwardsville is still in Wyandotte County. It's just a different city within the county, because you have, for Wyandotte County, you have, was it 3 cities? You have Kansas City, Kansas, you have Edwardsville, and Bonner Springs. And I guarantee they're going to find more stuff. Ruby says, my husband did not believe cops and racism is an issue. I would always debate with him. He finally saw himself cops being racist with a black family. He had to see it himself. Now he knows. Yeah, I mean, I've had some cops say some super racist shit to me, and I've had cops steal money from me. Like, I was 14 working at a grocery store, and I had a cop literally steal money from me. Like, I still had like the grocery store that I worked at, and my paycheck slip wrapped around the money. It was like maybe $200. I was like 14, and he literally took like $200 something from a 14-year-old. That's the kind of cops that we're dealing with here. It's just crooked as can be. Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for Canelo also, Atris.
Oh, nah, me, I'm going with Triple G, kid. I'm a Triple G dude. That's my man.
I mean, I think it's gonna be a good fight, definitely. But yeah, I guess on that note, I guess we can transition in. Oh, wait a minute. Black Lives Matter. Excuse. Oh, wait a minute. I guess I was getting stories mixed up.
No, that's why I wanted to talk about Black Lives Matter. That's why I mentioned it right before I got kicked off.
Let me say this one last thing.
Yeah.
Now that all this stuff is going on, I can go into some other stuff which we didn't really touch on with Cece, because remember we start going into because she was talking about a female who was being prostituted and a lot of this stuff, and so I was working on getting her on the show to interview her and talk about what was going on. And we talked about it. Remember, we talked about it, was it maybe a year and a half ago? And then we tried to, talk to some bigger channels to see if they would cover it also. And it kind of, went cold. Nobody would really touch it. And then all of a sudden we heard Jay-Z get involved, and now this is all going on. So I guarantee you, from what I know, talking to Cece and talking to one of my former classmates who's directly involved in this, there's more coming. But going ahead on the Black Lives Matter thing, I don't know about this. I'm gonna go grab my coffee and be right back.
Yeah, some director inside of don't do that. Some director inside, not director, some person in Black Lives Matter with access to the money just got $10 million. I think did they press charges against him? I don't even know. I just know another one of them, was accused of stealing some money, and it's not at all surprised. I mean, I'm not at all surprised because that organization was corrupt from the start. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Organizers allege in a lawsuit that Shalomaya Bowers put the organization's finances in his own piggy bank. Yo, son, when you have people just throwing money around because of stupid ass wannabe, well, I don't even want to say wannabe. When you have people just throwing money at something like Black Lives Matter, just thinking that it's an effective or actual organization without looking at who is actually receiving the money, shit like this is going to happen. I'm not at all surprised. And quite honestly, we knew this was going to happen. I never thought that Black Lives Matter, the organization, was ever going to amount to anything or to do anything for Black people. And sure enough, that was my personal thought back then. I've always felt like that. Off air, I've been said they're full of shit. I don't fuck with them. And sure enough, here we go. You got the other two chicks, they getting money, living a certain lifestyle. You got this dude getting money, living a certain lifestyle. Can anybody tell me anything positive that organization has done long lasting? Have they helped pass any meaningful legislation? What have they done other than show up on TV crying and whining all the fucking time? Can anybody tell me anything? I didn't think so. I don't see nobody in the chat like saying anything to that. So I already know, that most people thought about that as well.
I mean, and I'll add in as somebody who is actually
And fucking mijo. Mr. Streets at the ill Jay-Z line. I know that one.
And as somebody who, I actually used to march on the streets for, I think it wasn't even called Black Lives Matter at that point. I mean, when we were just out in the streets for the various different things that were going on, I remember like random stuff that happened in Kansas City. We were marching for that. And then I remember, like for instance, when Amadou Diallo got shot in New York, there were protests in random cities, and that's kind of what sparked me to get into it. Even though we were so far away from New York, we wanted to march to show our solidarity with what was going on in New York. And so even when I was in Florida, I was there at the time of the Trayvon Martin stuff, and I was out there marching part of the whole Trayvon Martin stuff, and then Jordan Davis. The Jordan Davis, when that murder happened, I literally lived like 5 minutes from there.
Hamza, what's up?
I used to literally go to that gas station all the time. So it was, the moment I saw that it actually had a name and they started getting kind of organized, I was like, yeah, this ain't going to be good. This is not going to be good. And then when I started hearing about George Soros getting involved, I was like, yeah, this is over.
Correct.
Our movement has basically been taken over and subdued. It's the same thing which happened with the civil rights era. You start having other groups say, oh yeah, we're with you. And what they did was they pushed their issues ahead and used us as a stepladder to get their rights accomplished, and then left us.
Look, it went from this organization didn't grow out of because people were targeting the homosexual community or the LGBTQRS community, right? Now, Black Lives Matter was started because it was mainly black men being shot and killed in the street by the police, right? By the end of everything, every time you heard Black Lives Matter, you heard Black trans lives matter.
But this is what happened with civil rights too.
Correct. And I'm not singling out that particular group. I'm just highlighting the fact that it wasn't many of them being shot and killed just for them being how they are and who they are. You know what I'm saying? It just out of nowhere, this thing got put on it. Black trans lives, Black LGBTQ. I mean, if we said Black Lives Matter, don't that cover every fucking black person, whether you trans or not?
That's what and that's why I told you. That's why I say that it was being co-opted. It's the same thing that happened with civil rights. It was, you start having more and more white people started to get involved in the civil rights fights. What you started seeing then is you started seeing a branching off of, well, it's time to fight for labor rights for everybody. It's time to fight for LGBT, well, it wasn't a T at that point. It was just lesbian and gay rights. Then you saw, well, it's time to fight for feminism. We need more rights for women. And what happened is all of those groups started getting their needs taken care of. And then the civil rights group that started off pushing for their rights got all shoved to the back. And then boom, what you start seeing is all of our leaders start getting all killed off, thrown in jail, things like that, while these other movements flourished. That's the reason why, for me, whenever I started all these other groups start coming in on any kind of black movement, I'm like, yeah, it's about to be over. Because what normally happens is when I saw the black trans lives thing going, I'm like, yeah, this is about to be the new agenda. It's going to be about black trans, which is going to turn to just about trans. And the whole Black Lives Matter thing is going to be thrown by the wayside. It was just a vehicle to get other people ahead.
Did they even, at the risk of sounding like some people on what they call the right, I mean, it would have been effective if they did go into the cities more often, more frequently. I'm not saying that didn't happen, that doesn't happen already. That's the difference between me and somebody like a Hannity or Tucker. I know that there are organizations that already do exist within the hood that are actively and have always worked to try to stem some of the violence in those communities. Now, something as high profile as Black Lives Matter comes along. I never really saw them in any of the hoods doing any, not in any, but I just didn't know. Again, as an organization, they was trash. The people who genuinely joined thinking that this was going to be something good, I feel for them because they got duped. That's why don't let yourself become part of those larger quote nationwide organizations. Do whatever you need to do in your neighborhood.
Well, that's the reason why, like, Altruist makes a good point here. Altruist says, if you're not BIPOC, I don't know about you. Well, and I felt like if these other groups wanted to say, hey, we are going to set up our own organization that's going to fight for Black Lives Matter. Also, instead of what happened is an infiltration. What happened is, for instance, what was it, when the Kyle Rittenhouse thing, majority of the people who were up there who it turned into riots and all that were white people. And that got turned into,
BLM riots.
Exactly. It got turned into BLM riots, which were Antifa people who start trying to push their own Antifa agendas and all this other stuff. And what I'm starting to see with the left is what always happens is it can't be about this one thing that we're trying to accomplish. Then we can move on to another thing. If you're not trying to exactly, Hamza, white liberals, if you're not trying to do this and then try to do that, and then we got to do this too, and then we got to do that too, and then we got to do this, and we got to fight for these 15 different things all at once. And what I tell people is that's how you know somebody is sabotaging. Somebody is sabotaging this movement because all they're doing is adding a bunch of things to make more people start splitting into their camps and going away from the thing. I said, the only reason why civil rights was able to get anything accomplished because they were singularly focused on one thing. The reason why the LGBTQ community has been able to get ahead because they were singularly focused on one thing. Every time you start splintering and trying to do 4 or 5 different things at one time, it never works.
Yep. Never.
Because what they do, the powers that be, is they say, okay, well, let's pick which one of these things we will allow to happen. And they allow one of them to get a little progress, and then it stops everything else. And they say, hey, you got your progress. I mean, look at it with politics. These Democrats put all this stuff on the list, and then somebody like Biden, like he's done, is he picked the minimum of what he could do and then cut that in half and said, hey, y'all got progress now. Hey, y'all wanted y'all wanted minimum wage hike. Y'all wanted what was it? Student debt canceled. Y'all want this done. Y'all want that done. Okay, I'm gonna pick the one thing and then give you a portion of that one thing.
That's always what happens. And then even further with Black Lives Matter, right? Let's even look at that in the context of the COVID era. They were putting shit on TV saying, stay away from it, people. Don't do this, don't do that. But, if you're part of BLM and you want to go outside and protest, go right ahead. Right, number one. So that when the media says and does shit like that, that signals to me that it's an op. Number two, if we hold that against how the media looked at the Million Man March, led by the nation, look at all of the fear around that. There was real fear. There was real, like, oh my God, pearl clutching, as they say. There was a lot of people who were real nervous about a Million Man March, even though that shit was like peaceful. You know what I mean? That's the type of shit they really don't want to see.
We got a couple. Oh, sorry. I was like, we got a couple of good comments over here. I wanted to read. Rockfin.
Yeah. Get into it. Let's go.
Yeah. Denver here says this one goes a little bit back, but I mean, I don't mind bringing it up because it's a good comment. It says corporations, royals, KC, it's kind of funny when you said Royals. I think Kansas City Royals, and then the KC3. But he's saying King Charles III goes way back, supporting WF, Schaub's Council of Rome, etc. He's also related to Dracula. That is a fact. Current monarch of the UK is related to fucking Dracula. He is Vlad the Impaler. I mean, I don't think, and I tell people, if we start understanding the ties to all these elites, then you start realizing when somebody like George Carlin was saying it's a big fucking club and you ain't in it, he's literally talking about it is an actual club. There is groups of people and you can see the connection to these. He just simplified it, and a lot of people don't get how literal he was being with it. Milburn Stone says, I miss the 70s. I wasn't born for the 70s, but it sounded like they were a lot better than now. And I wanted to read that other one. Elise Colby says, BlackRock and Vanguard are buying around 50% of residential real estate. On the top guys said that he wants to turn us into a nation of renters. No one can compete because they're offered cash above the asking price. And another thing I would add to that is who's buying probably the other major chunk of the real estate market outside of BlackRock and Vanguard. You have the Chinese and Russians, which are buying a lot of actual territory also. So with them having that race, it's pricing a lot of people out and leading to that plan of forcing everybody into renters. But yes, sorry, go ahead, Chris.
No. You know, are y'all about to do? Wait, I'm reading Yipper's comment. Are y'all about to do a show or a panel about how to spot a co-op? I mean, I guess we could.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I guess we could. If you look at anything that has too much support, if you look at anything that isn't, how can I say? If there's a certain number of white folks who are concerned and nervous and scared, then, you know, chances are that might be, and I'm not just talking about like conservatives upset, because they always have their panties in a bunch. I think they always walk around with wedgies. And I think the other side just don't have drawers and they act like assholes. You know, that would be the liberals, you know. Fun G-spot here. With that being said, yeah, anything that has too much official support, then you know it's the ops. Because chances are, like we talked about 9/11 last weekend, right?
And Milburn, you're not spamming. You're good. You're good. Keep the comments flowing. I enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw he's posting a lot too. It's all good.
No. Keep it going. Keep the chat lively. I want the chat lively over on Rockfin also. That way we can start getting maybe some of when we're struggling over here on the YouTube, that more people might want to go over to Rockfin, and then eventually we're going to have more Rockfin only shows, because there's certain topics which, you know, it felt good that that 9/11 show that we were able to do and speak a lot more freely and just kind of go into everything. So definitely much appreciated.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's.
Please read this. If anything, sure. God is not a human. God is definitely not a human. Much love to you also.
Yeah, you know, it's. Look, okay, going to the.
And I think I saw something. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask that because Jay-Z is your boy. I believe Ruby asked is yeah, you know what I'm about to ask you. Did Jay-Z and Beyonce sell out?
Oh, me personally, yes, I think so.
Yeah, I and maybe I'm just pessimistic when I say this, but anybody that you see that's on TV on a major level sold out.
If you're performing, look, if you're performing on behalf of Hillary Clinton, yeah, dog, you fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think he did it before
my guy
that.
As a rapper.
I think he did it before that, way before that.
Me personally, I think when I think when his time came was when the breakup of Rockefeller. When him and Dame Dash.
Yes, that was one of the biggest signs.
That, to me, that was it, because it seemed like Leo Cohen and those guys up at Def Jam were like, or Universal was saying to Jay, yo, you know, you hot, it's you don't need him, And sure enough, I think along with their own personal relationship decaying, I personally think that they told Jay, yo, if he's gone, things will go up. Things will change for you. Sure enough, Rockefeller Records broke up. Dame Dash went his own way. Jay-Z, what happened to Jay-Z? He became president of Def Jam.
I got something that I wanna read for. We can't. I wish I could play the song and break it down. If we were on Rockfin, I definitely would. So this will inspire you guys to to definitely follow us over on Rockfin. That way we can do some of these like Rockfin exclusive, and we could probably play the music and get away with it. But I'm gonna read the lyrics.
Real quick, Baba said, does anyone think the Rockefeller name was allowed by chance? No, I mean, in the streets, we outside in New York, especially, we use names like
all the time.
So
Noriega,
Yeah, I can't say that this was done. These are just Harlem dudes looking at rich guys. That's why Trump is even mentioned so much.
Trump was using a lot of songs. I mean, even Bad Bunny is through Trump in one of his songs.
Oh, The Evils. That's my shit.
This is literally like one of my favorite Jay-Z songs.
I never prayed to God. I prayed to God. That's life is wicked. I ain't asking for forgiveness. Oh, come on, man. I'll tell you this.
That's what I'm saying. And so
I know it's what you're going to.
You know where I'm going with this. You know this song. This is what I'm saying. This is literally on his first major album. This is how I knew he sold out. And right after this time, can you remind me what year did this album come out?
Oh, this is 1997. Oh, 96, sorry.
Exactly, 96. So who just died right before that?
Of course.
You just had Tupac and Big die. It was a huge, wide opening for somebody to come in and take over as the new head of hip hop. So it's funny. Salty Shit Live says Jay-Z is ass. His corporate music is trash.
This ain't corporate though.
But this was a cold ass song, and this is like before I got more the way I think now, and I didn't see some of this stuff. It was just that's cool lines, and so some of this. Dear God, I wonder if you can save me. Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. Does it get any more clear than that? Dear God, I wonder if you can save me. Secret society trying to keep the eye on me. Well, I think they kept the eye on you, and I think you just sold the fuck out.
Hold on. No, keep in mind that's Prodigy's line off the joint he did with Who Shot Ya? He did off LL Cool J. So that was
I know, but it was tongue in cheek also.
Oh yes.
I think he used that to he was hinting out there that I'm kind of available, and I think at the same time he's trying to tell the streets, they kind of hollering at me. And you know which line I'm go to next. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I don't even know why I skipped and just kept going. It says, whoever said illegal was the easy way out. Understand the mechanics and the workings of the underworld. Granted. So
I love that. That's one of my favorite lines in that joint. Repeat it. Just
exactly.
Say it slow. Whoever said illegal was the easy way out couldn't understand the mechanics and the workings of the underworld. Granted. 9 to 5 is how you survive. I ain't trying to survive. I'm trying to live it to the limit and love it. Yo, come on. He killed that shit.
That's what I'm saying. It's still a cold ass song, but
of course,
he's telling you what the hell he did. Even in this damn song, he's telling you. I mean, picking their brains for angels on and the evils that game will do. It gets dangerous. Money and power is changing us.
And now we're lethal.
Affected with the evils. He's literally telling you, I'm selling out. Remember that one song he said, I want to rhyme like common sense, but I ain't been rhyming like common sense.
Correct. But I did 5 mil. I ain't been rhyming like common sense. Correct.
Exactly.
The other part in that song that's worth noting is the part where he kidnaps his homeboy's baby's mom.
Yeah. Yeah, he said he never learned to use rubbers. Now I'm kidnapping his baby's mother. I mean, we used to play with building blocks. Now we play with, you know what I'm talking
now
about.
Now we fight with blocks of buildings and make a killing.
Exactly. You know this song. He was telling you all right here what was going on. And Baba said, I'm sorry, but Nas either crushed Jay-Z's soul. Exactly. You ever wonder why Nas never really blew up like he should have? Even though he was getting the sales that should have put him on the level, why he never did. There's reasons to this. There's reasons to why some people get elevated and some people don't. There's reasons to why some people get more record plays than other people. Like I brought up Bad Bunny earlier. It's the reason why Bad Bunny gets more plays. Now Bad Bunny is dope. Don't get me wrong. But there's other people out there that I consider who's dope also, who don't get the spins the same way. And it makes a difference why you had a handful of reggaeton artists come out and then they skyrocket to the top, billions of views on every song, and other people who are just as good but don't get it. There's a reason. None of this stuff is by accident, especially when you start understanding who controls the music industry, when you start understanding who controls Hollywood. You start seeing, why is this artist, like for instance, you got the Black Panther movie coming up. You're going to have, I don't want to say the name of her, but I don't want to throw her under the bus just yet. But you already see her being cast in like every damn movie that is Africa related. Oscar, I'll just say her name, Lupita Nyong'o. But they throw her in all these movies. Exactly. They throw her in all these movies. I mean, I used to be like, man, Denzel ain't a part of it. Yes, he is. All of these dudes they're all involved in this shit. That's why. And you might think, well, I don't see how. I mean, I don't see what they're doing. It's not always. It's sometimes that after they get them commercialized, they use them as sway to get people to sign on labels, to put certain people in the movies. And they say, oh, this person's starting to blow up. Let me get them on my team now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's all part of it. Are you going to see The Woman King? Yes, I am. And the reason why, Yipper, hit me up in the DM and I'll go into, it's a lot of history with The Woman King. I know they're still trying, they're playing an angle that I don't like, that I see what they're trying to do with a certain angle, but it is a powerful history. Said it's whitewashed. Well, I'll have to see what they do with it to see if it is actually whitewashed. But it's just something that I see which they're trying to do, an agenda which is being pushed. I mean, it's the same thing with The Little Mermaid. They give you a black Little Mermaid, but they're still pushing a different agenda. They're pushing an agenda within that, you know. But
can I say the stupidity on both sides of this shit was annoying. It was annoying watching all the fake videos with all the little black girls posted on Twitter and Instagram, watching this fucking Little Mermaid trailer bullshit, and like, oh my God, it's a black girl. She looks like me. And they tried to pass that shit off as real reactions. That's what I'm saying. So much of this shit is a fucking op or a marketing ploy. It's very dope. I didn't watch cartoons as a kid and be like, oh my God, He-Man looks like me. No, nigga, it was like, yo, He-Man is ill and he's strong as hell.
But we've said this before though, and I'll throw a shout out to Milburn. I love that you're here watching our show also. You know, I love and value everybody who's watching our show. I mean, you guys are the only reason why we're on here doing what we do, because people actually want to hear what we have to say. So we appreciate you. But look at my cup. Look at my cup. It's Batman. Do I want black superheroes? Yes. Do I want Batman to turn into a black guy? No, there are plenty of dude. Why come you can't promote promote the movie Luke Cage? Build that up. Why? I mean, now I see that they're doing Black Panther, but there are other ones out there that they just don't want to bring up. Yeah, the Black anything. You don't have to, dude. What it is Hollywood has gotten to a point where it's so controlled that instead of letting a new writer come in and put their new story out, they just recycle the same shit and then just put a different twist on it.
And the controversy, and you know, Disney's not stupid. They're very smart. They know Disney knows exactly what they're doing, which is exactly why they chose to put in a Black Ariel in their live one, right? Because at the end of the day, you know what that did? In addition to the group I just mentioned.
Sorry, Anne Frank.
Yeah, she's Anne Frank.
Oh,
yeah,
they made a Black Anne Frank? I didn't know they did that.
No.
Oh,
She
God,
was,
that's horrible.
No, she was saying if they did, you know, it'd be a problem. But let me just finish this real quick and then we can get into that. The other group that was stupid as fuck was the stupid conservatives online crying about, oh my God, Ariel's not Black. You're ruining my childhood. I'm just like, again, you should be slapped too. You know what I'm saying?
But that goes back to what I said earlier about a lot of these leftists are too fucking. I don't even want to say left. I say the left and the right. Both of y'all are too. If this is the shit you're whining about that's ruining you, you are not the person who's going to be able to fight back against the U.S. military in overthrowing a so-called tyrannical government. You are not built for this.
What they said on the Lock skit, you ain't built for bodies. You ain't built
exactly. But that's the society we live in. We live in, like, I'm gonna use a Simon Phoenix line when he's talking about, you know, we live in a pussy whip version of the old world we used to live in.
Yeah,
this is what we're living in right now. We're literally living in that future which you had in Demolition Man. Well, pretty close to it. Not exactly there, but we're getting close. I mean, I was talking about somebody in a tweet, not a tweet, but I was responding in a comment on YouTube, and it actually stopped me to say, "Are you sure that you want to say this comment? You sure you don't want to edit and rethink?" Basically, like, nah, this is what I want to say. This is what I want to call this person. Oh, streets don't remind me of that. That was that was so ass what they did with Captain America. It disgusted me. It disgusted me. I don't know. Did you watch it, Chris?
Which one? The show on Disney Plus with the Falcon?
Captain America and Falcon, yeah.
I mean, the Winter Soldier and Falcon, right?
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, whatever.
I watched that, but you know, in the books, they did turn Falcon into Captain America eventually in the book. So the fact that they're bringing it to the television is like, I'm not too surprised about that. At the very least, for me, I'm saying.
But when did they do that? Think about
it. They did that years ago, long time ago.
Yeah, but only like maybe 10, 15 years ago, not like
not that. I wouldn't even say 15. No, it's relatively recent, but at the very least.
That's my point. They start doing it in the comic books so that they can flip it over later. It's like for instance, the Immortals. That's not an old comic book.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Hollywood starts to do this agenda, so they first roll it out in the comic book section. So that way, when they decide to do it on film, like, whoa, we're just taking from the comic books. That's how they do a lot of this stuff. I mean, it's just, or at least do, you know, I don't care, do a multiverse type version and it all happened differently, but don't start erasing and like the Hawkeye thing is disgusting for me. It's garbage. I couldn't even keep watching it.
I can't, man. I'm not going into this.
Yeah, it's garbage. Just you can make new characters. It's not hard. I used to watch a show called Heroes. I don't know if y'all remember it. Heroes literally created all their own damn superheroes all of a sudden. It's not hard. It's not hard to create a superhero. Really isn't. We don't have to go and change, ones who are already black elves were in the original Lord of the Rings. Yeah, they were. Let's see. Oh yeah, and guess we got one more story to get into.
Yeah, I really want
your boy DeSantis, bro. What's up with this dude? This dude is like, Yipper said, "What's up with Hawkeye?" Basically, they make him look old, slow, and clumsy, and they retire him for a young, I believe she's Latina, but like, I think she's lesbian or non-binary, I think. Yeah, to take over his place. I'm like, why do you guys have to force this agenda? And that's the reason why people are scared to say anything back against the T part of the LGBT group, because obviously you can see if they're to the level where they're forcing their agenda so heavily into Hollywood, it shows you there's a lot of money and backing behind them. And they obviously have the media to push and like really stomp and force back and force this agenda. So, man, yes, snowflakes. And it's on both sides, because I literally watched this campaign from conservatives who like digitally made the black Little Mermaid back into white Little Mermaid. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. The left, the right, we're living in the most sensitive, weak generation that there's ever been. And so you tell me that, yeah, we're going to have an armed revolution and fight back against the powers that be. I'm like, sure. And the funny thing about it is, a majority of these people that I hear saying that, they're not even from the streets. They're not from the military. These are people who, a good chunk of them, live with their parents, or think a way to fight back is to make some berets and pussy hats. If that's what you think is fighting back, and that's your push, y'all, none of y'all are built for this. You're worried about, I'm going to go meet up with other organizers, but I want to make sure that I'm not in danger. Guys are way too soft for this shit. Are way too soft for the real shit, because I know how military members get down. And many of y'all are getting wiped out. Let's see, there's Chris. Yeah, I lost you a minute there. I don't know if you heard my little rant.
No, I didn't. I was trying to listen. This shit was fucking me up, man.
Yeah, but let's get into this dumbass DeSantis, because I'm like, dude, you literally, I'm looking at it like this. The way the Trump shit is working, at worst case, he's not going to be able to run. And if he is, I don't even know if he's going to be on all the ballots. So they're making sure that this dude is not going to be the nominee. You don't have to try so hard for the Trump audience when you already have a good balance. I guess he's saying, you know what? Because I look at it like this. If you become the nominee and you can get some people who are middle of the road and maybe some people so-called leftists, the other Republicans are going to come your way any damn way. But what you're doing is you're guaranteeing some of these people are like, hey, well, you're not that bad. Then you're guaranteeing that they're not going to fuck with you. We need to be organizing like Rome and Affini doing that. I don't know. I think what Rome is doing, helping out the poor, that's what people need to be doing. But getting out and yelling in the streets, I don't. The elites don't give a shit about us yelling and screaming in the streets. They don't give a shit about us marching around. That's not going anywhere for you.
But if you're going to be yelling and screaming in the streets to try to bring about change, though, you don't need to be applying for permits to the city council to allow you to protest and giving them the day, right? If you're going to do that, really do it. You asking for permission, they're laughing at you. They just gave you permission to stand out in front of their buildings and whine and cry. I mean, you got to think about the logic
and get photo ops.
You know what I'm saying? You got to think about the logic behind that.
I'm not
challenging. You're supposed to be challenging power, but you ain't ask power if it was okay for you to have a protest to challenge power. Why they gonna give it to you when you asking them just to even cry? You're asking permission from them to cry.
I'm telling you, as a fellow black person, just because you're black and speak powerfully and it makes people feel good, that is not going to change shit.
No.
I've been out there doing these protests and stuff like that, and been around even more powerful speakers than Afeni. This is when I go back to, and I'm really not trying to throw shade to anybody. This is when I think that the left, a lot of people, you guys are very naive, extremely naive. And I was there at one point in time where I believed all that shit would work.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. Period. They don't care. They're like, yeah, go on ahead, keep yelling all you want, whatever. Do your march for Medicare for all, blah 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 blah, whatever. I was part of the Occupy Wall Street protest. They didn't give a shit, and it literally moved the needle zero. And we were far more organized and had far more people in more cities than any of them have had, and it got us nowhere. And so when I look at these groups, and then behind the scenes, what you guys don't realize is all of these people bicker back and forth, these different people who get out and lead these organizations and try to get into these groups and all that. And they have 50 gazillion concerns. That gets you nowhere. They're like, well, this person over here, who I think is a powerful organizer also, they don't use the right pronouns, so I don't want to work with them. Well, this person over here, they're fine with capitalism, so I don't want to work with them. Well, this person over here, they use ableist language, so I don't want to work with them. That's the reason why that's why I laugh at these groups, because they make so many, they want everybody to agree 100% with them in order to organize with them. And what you end up doing is you end up making a very, very small group of people.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Marcus, look, Denver has a great comment on. Denver has a great comment on Rockfin. Just as Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels suggests, ostensible diversity masks actual uniformity. Power and people and institutions allow one and not the other. They use one to mask the lack of acceptable opinion outside of the narrative. I mean, that's like spot on right there. And going back to DeSantis, right? I mean, one, he's clearly playing the cable news, the 20th century cable news shit with the stunts he's doing. But I just want to speak on this from like a different level. And I don't want to sound like all Pollyanna-ish and like, you know, kumbaya shit, none of that. But I do have to comment, like, these people, you're playing real games with people's lives as usual. Somebody had a woman approach these migrants, tell them $200, you can go get a job in Massachusetts. So all these people went ahead and made their way to where they were going to be taken off from, only to be dropped off in Martha's Vineyard. So I believe a lot of them went from Texas to Florida and then up to Massachusetts. You playing games with people's lives, dog, like just to make a fucking political point. That's disgusting on so many levels. I mean, this happens all the time. But for those on the right who are hailing DeSantis like this hero because he did do what he did during the COVID lockdowns, because he actually happened to be on, you know, a decent side, or didn't come down on us as hard as other governors and shit. Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that one too, Hamza. Don't worry.
We'll get to it, yeah.
we're gonna get to that, Hamza. Don't worry. I got smoke tonight, Hamza.
Yes.
With just think about it. You send people to a different state, left them to just sit there, and it's just like, what kind of fucking game you playing? And you know what? He's the politician. Politicians will play games. My issue is with the people who looked at that stunt and was like, yeah, stick it to those liberals, stick it to those Democrats. You like your sanctuary cities, so you deal with it. Yo, those people.
Well, he didn't even do it only into these so-called sanctuary cities. He did it into a couple. He did it into a red state too. He did it to Kansas. I mean, he did it in a couple of. I mean, from what and he's planning on spending what, I can't remember how much, like 11 million of the budget into doing, you know, just continuously dropping off busloads of people. So I mean. This dude is literally playing with people's lives, playing with people's budgets in other states, because now they're putting them in the position of either having to give facilities for these people, or they're going to end up deportation. So either way they do it, it's going to cost money to these other budgets. And I'm like, how many? You think these other governors have a problem with you just because you're a Republican? Wait till it comes around in Florida. And right now, there's literally a hurricane which is swelling off the coast of Puerto Rico right now. Where do these hurricanes normally go to right after that? And so what's going to happen is these governors are going to tell their state legislator, hey, don't send them bastards no money down there to Florida to help. I mean, you're playing some stupid fucking political games.
Yeah,
but it's all for MAGA cred.
Yeah, I don't. You know, it's ridiculous.
Wow,
you know how many of those people probably told their wives or husbands or kids or nephews or parents or somebody who was here in the States, hey, look, I heard about an opportunity for me to go make some money in Massachusetts, and just legitimately thinking about earning money. So you playing games with people who actually want to work and do what we're supposed to do. Okay, fine. They're fucking here without fucking papers. Who cares? Nobody belong here if we gonna go.
Yeah, keep it 100. Yeah.
Belong. So before you get into ownership and feeling a certain fucking way, white conservative, you know, you don't own shit either. You know what I mean? So you keep your fake tears about, oh my God, they're coming here and doing shit. They work harder than your spoiled children. Okay? Just keep that in mind. They have better value system than you spoiled motherfuckers. If we just gonna keep it above. You know what I'm saying? And they cook better. They dance better. So you know what? In all honesty, y'all could go somewhere. Go to Montana or something. Like, go cry in Wyoming.
No, I mean, if it's up to me, according to how I read, you know, the Bible, I'm telling, and the messed up part about it is my interpretation is, and you guys could disagree with it, but because of how some of these white leaders are, they are going to impend doom on a lot of white people who didn't do shit. Just because of how bad these leaders are. I mean, like somebody brought up, they said, hey, when the Japanese what were they called? Not suicide. What do they call them? I can't remember the term for them.
Kamikaze.
Kamikaze. That's what it was. When the kamikaze pilots, you know, crash landed their planes into American ships. That got Japan hit as a nation. When you do these types of things, they get your whole nation hit. And I don't think people realize some of the stuff which, like, even our government's doing. I mean, it's going to get a lot of people, you know, hurt. But people like then these are the type of people. DeSantis, let him become a president, because he's so. If he became president, you can tell the kind of clout that he wants, that he's trying. Trust me, he's gonna have Russia or China. He's gonna have Russia or China sending something hot over here real quick.
But you know what? Going to Hamza's comment about, like, has he ever criticized Israel? Of course not. He never will. I mean, like I said on this show before.
You will not get elected in Florida if you criticize Israel.
And not just that, but when him and Andrew Gillum were running for governor, they both were on stage, both bending over backwards to say who could do more tricks for Israel.
Actually,
and
bending over
who would
forward.
be more subservient to them. And so he'll never do them. He had people here making license plates that say "I stand with Israel." So that goes to show you where he is on that shit. Another fucking stupid pet of the Zionists.
Yeah, Chris. He wasn't bending over forward. He wasn't bending over backward. He was bending over forward.
That too.
That's exactly what they were doing. You do not get elected in Florida without playing nice with Israel. And was the group AIPAC. You know better. You will not get elected. And here's the thing about it. It's not even that all of Florida really feels the same way. It's that if you piss off this one demographic in South Florida, you lose the election. Period.
And you lose a lot of money.
Exactly. You lose a lot of money. And so you go against them. They have the ability to fund your campaign, destroy your campaign.
Crush your campaign. And to crush you personally.
Exactly. Because, I don't even want to go into all the different law firms and different things like that and LLCs and everything that's out of South Florida. Chris knows. He knows more than anybody. Baba says, I want to know what Marcus and Chris think about the new working class #MAGA communism.
I brought that up earlier.
I think she came in a little
I didn't know
late.
what MAGA communism was.
It's basically about trying to keep people on the same page as far as election integrity. That's all it really is, and it's not going to go anywhere. MAGA people. Well, here's another thing. MAGA people, for one, are like 90% at least or I'll say anti-abortion. The fact of most of the communist type people are pro-abortion rights. That's already oil and water right there. That's just one thing. Two, the MAGA side is ultra capitalist. They're not, they're not like, oh, okay, let's color in the lines a little bit. No, they're laissez-faire. We don't give a damn. Big business can do whatever they want. While you have the communism side that are going to be anti even the littlest, even minor capitalist stuff. Those two areas alone make it virtually impossible for them to work together. And then the strain of racism. I'm not saying it's all MAGA, but I would say at least a third of MAGA is very extremely hardcore racist. That's not going to work. And then you factor in the LGBTQ agenda. Most of the people on the communist side are pro-LGBTQ, non-binary, all that stuff. The MAGA crowd is like, no, we're not playing none of that shit. So, election integrity is not going to be the thread that's going to pull these people who are so diametrically opposed on everything.
In every way.
Exactly. It's not pulling them together. You got communists, the people on the communist side that are like, well, we feel America is too male chauvinistic. You got the MAGA side, even the women who are like, no, the man needs to be the head. So you in every way, these people don't agree. You got the communism, a big chunk of them who are saying, hey, we do see plenty of problems with America. America needs to fix this. We're not all super patriotic. Where the MAGA side is extremely patriotic and makes excuses for everything wrong America does. You can't have these hard lines that both of these groups have and think that this one little thread is going to work. And I get it. Some people they feel like, well, if we can get election integrity together, then they're not coming together for that. They're just not. And I hate to burst anybody's bubble that's what they believe will fix all this, but it's just not going to work.
It's not. So I saw it trending, and I see that guy Jackson Hinkle or Hinky, whatever his name is. I don't know anything about him. I tend not to pay attention to these people. You're
talking about Jackson Hinkle?
Yeah, I don't know who he is. I just seen him look like some Zach Morris looking white guy, right?
It does kind of remind me of Zach Morris. He's
I don't know.
remember he's the one. He's the one where I was out there at the Stop the Mandates where I talked to him and he was out there. That's the one I talked to.
Yeah. Okay. So, but why his opinions and what he doing on his show got all these people talking about him so much? Why they got his dick in their mouth? I don't understand it. If you don't like what the fuck he's saying or anybody saying, just fucking ignore them. All this crying about what they people do on their platform. Look, there's a trillion of us doing this YouTube shit. If you don't like what one person is doing, change the fucking channel.
Just well, what it is he's because he has his platform has gotten big very, very fast. And it's constantly grown fast. And so just like how this YouTube thing works.
Zach Morris always gonna be popular, kid.
If you have the amount of followers, people take more credence in what you say. And so and what it is he ran for 21? Office. He's got to be older than that. I don't think he's 21. He's probably at least maybe 20, 24, 25 at least. He's not. I don't think he's 21.
So they're mad
he ran for office in Orange County.
So they're mad. So Marcus, real quick, if I could get this right. So this is a young 20-year-old that people in their 30s and 40s are upset about the things he's saying because
no, it's not that they're upset. I don't think that they're upset with it. I think that they I think what it is because there's been a handful of people who've talked about it. And what I've seen with him, I mean, I don't know him personally. He can always come correct me and say, no, this isn't how it is. He seems like he made a hard heel turn on some issues maybe about 8-9 months ago or so. And when he did that, he kind of felt more in line with I would say between the RBN to Jimmy Dore lane. And so he kind of floats in between that lane, and the fact that he's been on Jimmy Dore a couple of times, it's helped blow up his platform. I mean, he ran for office, and then what I've seen is most people who run for office, it normally kicks off their YouTube channel, faster. Or if you had some kind of high level involvement with political campaigns, all of those people I see, it kickstarts their channels.
I don't know who he is. I don't know what he says or anything like that. I don't know what he stands for. But all I'm saying is I'm seeing the response to people. And then everyone in the chat, clearly they know about it. They just said he's 23 years old. So motherfuckers is uptight over a 23-year-old? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't take the kids serious. I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't take them serious. I take everybody serious, but I just don't know how to. I don't know how to take him because when I first saw you, you sounded more like a shit lib, and then I saw Franco run up on you, and then I saw a change, and
shout
then
to Franco.
Shout out to Franco. Then I saw somebody else run up on you, basically, and you made another change. And so I don't know he could have had like some kind of political awakening and change, but at the same time, also you throw out ideas like this which don't make any sense to me. So I know that as far as like some of the Russia-Ukraine stuff, he's made good analysis of it, but in all honesty, anybody who just follows it somewhat, it's not hard to see what's going on there. So he ran for office at 18.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness.
Marcus, I'm gonna view people like this. If you were ever advocating for people to follow any of the rules of the lockdown and from the COVID era, if you were advocating for people to take the vaccine, wear a mask, and all that other shit, you're the ops to me. Okay, so if
I'm not sure his position. I think he might have been and then changed.
Because Denver said he was wrong on the vaccines early. A lot of that shit. These are people
he changed.
And these are people who are supposed to be not him, moving off of him, right? A lot of these people were supposed to be smart. They're 30, 40 plus years old, and they've been looking at all this corruption and all this fuck shit from corporations and governments and all the like, and they still was advocating that. So any of these people who run these programs, if they were slow on this, that's bad on you. Because if you're doing these type of programs, are you talking to people like a Whitney Webb or a homeboy from Vagabond and shit like that? You know what I'm saying? You should already been looking at the players behind this, extremely skeptical, and you should have been like, yo, you know what? I mean, I know everything, but I'm gonna hold back. I'm most definitely not gonna follow the fuck shit you telling me to follow.
Oh, Warren says here, I'm gonna read this because I mean, I don't follow him that hardcore to know all the ins and outs. And like Ruby said here, he said he talks about the false news they're putting on Ukraine and Russia, which I do know he's been correct on his analysis there. People complaining about that. He did have a change when Franco talked to him. I remember Franco saw him in DC, I think, and he went back and forth with him at first, and then Franco like kind of, I don't want to say he trolled him, but he got at him, and they went back and forth on Twitter a little bit, and then you saw him change. You saw a change. It was an obvious change, and it was obvious that Franco called him out, and it did not look good on his end. I've seen somebody said something about what was Warren's? Oh, said Warren says at Hamza, he says a lot of things, then pivots at a moment's notice. I have heard that critique also before. I mean, I know I DM'd him about I think he was talking to Lucy and somebody else kind of messed up, and I was like, yo, man, you should kind of chill that out. At the same time, I look at people like him as they are young too, so I try to weigh all of it out. I mean, I just don't know. It's just a lot I don't know about him, so my opinion is not solidified yet on him.
Yeah, I don't pay him any mind. I won't go and check his shit out. I don't have time for him. One, I'm outside, I work a lot, and I got a bunch of other shit. So I could barely keep up, so there's a lot of shit to watch. So I probably won't. I'll just hear it and read about it. But the mention of his name as I scroll while I'm taking a shit is just like, Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like, how many fucking times this dude's name come up? So I just be following other shit, looking at other shit to kind of switch it up, because I don't understand, like, why is he like being mentioned so much at this point in time? But you guys have educated me, and thank you. So it is what I thought it was. He's Zach Morris, and everybody kind of like Zach Morris.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you, Warren. And I'm gonna tell you something that I don't know how much of this is his fault or not.
Correct streets.
One thing I'll say that I have noticed is YouTube, if you have a certain look, a certain complexion, it seems like it's a little easier for your channel to grow. Especially if it doesn't matter what you're really talking about. But if you have a certain complexion, it's easier for your channel to grow. And I'm not just saying that because, it feels like they're holding my channel back. No, I've seen other Black YouTubers who are much larger than myself have a lot of issues and complain about being striked for things that other people are not. I mean, perfect example, what happened last week with the video that I literally have shared before on the channel and broke down. I mean, there's probably 100 different videos of people breaking down that exact video live and doing reaction videos to it. And not one of their channels they've stopped it live or done any of that crap, which they did to mine. And this is the kind of shit we talk about. I mean, I've seen some of the bigger Black content creators that they will review a video game or something, and theirs gets a warning on it, but other people's don't. I mean, it's a lot that you see. I feel like YouTube is they definitely show, if not racist, a biasness pro people who are white. Let's just call it what it is. And a biasness against anybody who's not white. So I don't know if that goes all the way to the top. I don't know if that's an algorithm thing. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty clear. If you're black and you want to talk about a rapper getting shot, and you want to talk about, you know, people getting indicted or RICO cases, or you want to talk about somebody getting on here to twerk and all that kind of shit. You want to talk about hood drama, you want to do makeup tips, or you want to review the newest album that came out, they have no problem promoting your channel. But you want to start talking about some news and politics and have a critical eye, you get shut down. So you pretty much said Chatalinsky, because he's
who's Mad Marxist talking about?
I do not know who Chad
Salini.
Salini? Never heard of him.
I don't know. I know he's probably talking. I know he's probably being sarcastic, but I just want to know what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm. Zach Morso, can't watch his show because it's just not my vibe. His hairstyle, it gets on my nerves. Yeah, he just, I don't know.
Oh, he's not pro LGBTQ? Oh, okay.
Let's see. Hamza says Russia, Ukraine, and exposing WEF, and the poison shot got demonetized on YouTube. But sometimes I think some of that stuff, like somebody said that he got arrested on purpose. I think that was Franco too. It was like, yeah, he decided to get himself arrested for credit. I don't know. Somebody had this like clip. I think.
Look, whenever they do that,
does
they turn you
everything for
into
the
a
credibility. So
you know what Americans love?
know.
You know what Americans love more than anything? A victim or a perceived victim. Oh my God, we got demonetized. And you know, I just don't know. I'm gonna feed my family. Like, boom, you start talking that shit. Yo, you're gonna get more viewers. I don't know, man.
Denver says Jackson has been posting polls and info regarding Jimmy Dore for president. He may be piggybacking off of that message for visibility. I think that's 1,000% correct. I don't even know him, and I think I see a lot of people who when a bigger channel, damn, I guess we lost Chris again. And they see a bigger channel who will even somewhat mention them, or they have the possibility to get in front of them, they'll start doing more stuff to try to get the attention of the bigger channel for views. I'm not gonna lie, I would appreciate if we got, you know, put on a larger scale, or some big name called us out, you know, or had us on the show. But we're not going to do anything to intentionally try to get on somebody's channel for clout. That's not what we're going to do. If I'm live somewhere and I see some random person who I know is a YouTuber, yeah, I'm probably going to swing by and say what's up, just out of the fact of this is not necessarily easy to do starting out in the first place. So I'll give anybody respect and credibility who's out there running their own channel, but you know, that's the extent of it. Yeah, I'd like to probably review him more before I make any kind of solid critiques or say that he's a this or that. I believe that at a certain point, I watch a lot of content out there where I'm like, there was a point when I thought and believed just like those people. So, you know, it's a Malcolm X quote out there, and he says that, you know, at a certain point, I didn't think like I thought now. I didn't know what I know now. I mean, I don't think all the other channels out there have done the research and seen how connected monetarily some of these politicians are to higher ups, how the banking industry is controlled, and on and on and on and on. If they knew more of this stuff, and if I knew for a fact they knew this stuff that I profess to know, and they still were making some of the decisions and commentary that they were doing, then I would think, okay, maybe they're grifting, maybe they're doing this, maybe they're doing that. But I don't know that they know some of the stuff that I know. I mean, like I told people, if I would have been thinking about YouTube years ago, I don't know if like the YouTube commentary political thing was a thing back in 2007, when I was first volunteering for the Obama campaign. I mean, but I was out there doing the door knocking, doing this and that, traveling around, talking to people, convincing them to vote for Obama. And so you all know how I feel and think about all these politicians now. So that's the reason why I say, can some of these people be legitimate in their thoughts and feelings and still believe in the elections and this? And it's possible. Yes, Yipper. Yes, I did. But I always remind, I always want to tell people, Obama, honestly, he wasn't my first choice. I was for Mike Gravel. I was for Mike Gravel at first. And I still had that kind of ideology of my civic duty as a so-called Black person is I have to vote. And so my mindset was that I have to support one of these campaigns because the Republicans are so horrible. And so once Gravel couldn't make it, his campaign didn't go very far, I switched to, what is his name? I switched to Chuck Hagel. I was supporting Chuck Hagel, who was a Republican who was running as an independent. Or he might even went Democrat, I don't know. And then I switched from Hagel to, I'm forgetting his name, the guy who had the sex scandal, John Edwards. Then from John Edwards, then when he dropped out, then I went to Obama. So, you know, it wasn't like, oh, I was this, it wasn't like I so much believed in Obama that he was this leftist change candidate. It was the fact of I felt that he was the best option left out of what I was seeing. Hamza, you asked, who woke you up? I believe that you still had to, I mean, I'm trying to figure out exactly if I'll say woken up or when, because I was still skeptical even when I was supporting Bernie. I was like, man, I don't really think this dude's gonna do a whole lot, but he sounds like he's trying. He sounds like he's going to do this, or sound like he's going to do that. At that point, I still was not in belief of a certain the whole the great big club kind of narrative that there was, say, a group of elites that literally had their hands and fingers into everything. I hadn't done like the digging. Then I want to say about maybe 2016, when I saw how Bernie got screwed over that first time, then I was like, okay, they screwed him over. The system is jacked up. Oh shoot, he had to switch all the way up. I'll say that I figured the system was completely screwed, and I still didn't even see Bernie as compromised.
Marcus, my audio is acting up. Give me a second.
Okay.
Right there.
I still didn't see Bernie as completely compromised at that point. But then the next time around, because at that point I felt like everybody else for the most part was pretty much corrupted or too weak to do anything. When I saw the moves that he was making, probably, I want to say that Super Tuesday when everybody dropped out of the race and he didn't punch Biden when Biden was weak. Because I don't know, on my other channel, there's a video, I think I did a video, the speech that Bernie should have made. And at that point, I was really wrestling with, like, what the fuck did I just see? How did he literally had that shit in his hand. And I was like, and then I started going to, well, maybe they got something on this dude. They must have something on him that he knows he's not gonna, he can't just take it. And so that's when I started thinking maybe it's something corrupt with Bernie. And then when I look back, I found stuff where it did indicate, yes, Bernie was corrupt. Bernie had been corrupt for a long time. Once I realized that, then I realized anybody who was affiliated with him and pushing him was just as corrupt. And then I started digging into everybody's money ties. I advise everybody to go check out Open Secrets. Opensecrets.org. And it doesn't even show all the stuff, but it shows you can literally start looking at who's tied to what, and then start looking back at certain votes and why they voted certain ways, and it starts making more sense. You start seeing the corruption like clearly right in front of your face. And then I followed those levels to the people who were funding them, to the people who were funding the people above that. And it all started tying back to the same names over and over and over and over, or the same banks, or, whatever. And I start seeing these ties all the way across. That's when I realized the corruption of the system. And then when I start digging into the so-called going down the third rail and the rabbit hole, I started seeing that the corruption was real. And when I started reading books that went into like the Federal Reserve and how they put this stuff together, and started seeing how they were getting blackmail on politicians all the way back to the 20s and 30s and making them change and do all this. And then when I started digging deeper, when you really start digging deep into like the corruptions and how this stuff goes, that's when you start seeing, when people talk Illuminati, that's real. Said Marcus, even Steve was a Bernie bro. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Steve was necessarily a Bernie bro. I think he kind of was skeptical. He was more skeptical than I was. I mean, me and Steve had a lot of talks off camera, discussing a lot of these things. And Steve, as far as any YouTuber, was somebody who I always had that I can go to, who knew a lot of this shit that was going on. And then the time when I was coming out of a lot of this is around the time when I met Chris. So what was that? Maybe about 2 years ago now, where I was really like completely like pulled out of the system. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little bit more than 2 years, but I was still kind of given a lot of benefit of the doubt in the way I was covering stuff, until it's just, after this, 2.5 years or so, I've just been really like, nah, it really is what I thought it was. It's corrupt. And I mean, literally, you can go and read books from like Albert Pike and see that literally World War I, World War II, and World War III were already literally planned back to the 1800s with the nations that were going to be on which sides and who was going to be doing what. I mean, if it's that coordinated that far out, it starts getting obvious.
Yeah, I had to switch up locations because my laptop kept telling me it was out of space. I don't know why it kept telling me that, but whatever. I had to switch back to my PC, so that's why the background is like now different.
No, you're
good. Anyway,
we're about to wrap it up.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
I was gonna say, Hamza, the difference is you were part of the nation. That's why you knew better already. You knew not to trust a lot of these people off rip.
Look, speaking to the Bernie thing, I understand why people were supportive of him. But like I said, after he screwed you over, you should have been like looking at him real sideways.
Well, I guess you can kind of go in and lay out to them. They were asking like, what made me kind of wake up and come out of things, and like, when did you come out of it? And Chris kind of already was kind of so-called black-pilled in a sense. He kind of already came into this like, nah, I don't trust this. It's just me, when I came out of seeing all of it, I became fanatical into how far I came out of it. That's all I would say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I guess give him a little heads up on you, Chris.
No, I mean, first of all, my parents are my parents. They always put us onto this stuff. Like I said, they all like from young. They were putting us on to like real radicals, like real people who died, not people who just, gave speeches and then ran for office. You know what I'm saying? And then not just that, I say it all the time, Marcus, there's 2 black guys on this show, right? In case people didn't really know that, right?
Yeah.
We see the system for what it is in its raw form. We don't have our reality here in this country is not one that we can afford to choose to like, well, the system is actually pretty good, and we just gotta get good people in there. And no, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Just by our existence and everything that we have to teach each other, teach children, etc., etc. Son, this shit is corrupt and it's set up to work this way. It's not going to be any other way. So for me, I guess, as we run through politicians and presidents and all this other shit, it didn't matter if they had a D after their name or R. For us, what's the difference between David Dinkins in New York and Giuliani? I don't know. Dinkins called up for all them fucking cops. Giuliani happened to come into office with all them cops that Dinkins called up. And what was Dinkins going to do? He's going to use them cops to plant more trees in New York.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He was gonna do to us what Giuliani did. Maybe not so much in that manner, but you called up all them goddamn cops. You were saying the city is crime is there's too much crime in the city. He was gonna send the wolves too. It just so happened that he lost and Giuliani got in there and sent the wolves after poor people and homeless people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So,
I mean,
on every level you look at, like even drugs, man. I always say it. Just look at a community. Look at our communities and what drugs have done to it. Illegal drugs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it had such a major effect. And again, none of that shit is being produced in Harlem.
Well, it's funny you brought up the drugs because that ties back into the whole Kansas City thing. Because of the cops, we had so many like KKK cops who literally only thought of the crime is coming from the black community. That's the reason why Kansas City got super bad with meth. I mean, when the show Breaking Bad came out, that's why I wouldn't watch the show, because I knew so many people who were affected by the meth epidemic that we had. And the reason why the meth epidemic got so bad is because they only looked for it in the hood. They never could find the sources. Then after a while, they're like, all right, we got to search somewhere else. So then they start searching into the trailer parks. They still couldn't find it. So back to the hood, back to the trailer park, back to the hood, back to the trailer park. And then eventually they say, you know what? Damn, we can't find it. This must be getting imported. So they kind of stopped worrying about it. And then what happened is they started having fires in all these suburban areas, and the fire department started saying, yo, you realize they had a full meth lab in the basement of this nice suburban home. What they were doing is they would make the front level look like a normal place, and then the whole downstairs was basically the lab. So they were cooking all the shit up in the suburbs. And because they never worried about getting in, they never worried about, actually checking the suburbs, that's how the meth got so bad. I was one of those people where I always knew about the evils of this country and it had been taught to me, but I was hopefully minded that we could vote our way out of this or things were getting better. Like I knew about some of the horrible shit with Truman. I knew about Andrew Jackson. I knew about how the great the New Deal, how the New Deal excluded, mostly black people. And I knew about all of that stuff that was going on, but I was just hoping that we could get past it. Yeah.
Ruby just said meth is horrible where I'm in Florida. It's sad. I think it's meth. They come out crazy. And she must live on like the north. She must live either in the west or northwest.
I would say probably in the Panhandle or in Central. Well,
yeah.
Let's see. Are we right? Let's see who's right. I'm thinking probably out towards Pensacola, or probably in that maybe, I want to say between Orlando and Tampa area.
Northwest. Yeah.
Northwest. Yep, I was right.
I mean, Hamza said that, Ruby didn't answer, but to me, that's where.
That's what he said. Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I lived on the west side of Florida, I saw a lot of that shit too. You know what I'm saying? A lot of meth users, a lot of people without teeth. I didn't understand that there could be so many people in the town who don't have teeth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, we're waiting. Let's see, where is it at? Who's right? We got Northwest Florida. We got, I say Panhandle more than likely. No, I live an hour north of Tampa. I said, or probably around I said between.
Yeah.
Orlando
Okay.
and
So
Tampa.
yeah, like I said, West Florida. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in Pasco. She's probably in Pasco County or Hernando.
Yeah, it's bad out there. Not Orlando, but yeah, Pasco County is.
No, Hernando County.
Or what's
Either
the
Pasco
other
or
one?
Hernando.
Or what's the other one that I'm thinking of? Hillsborough.
Oh, that's Hillsborough County. Okay.
Yeah. Moving outside of Jacksonville South is too expensive and high. Yeah, I mean,
streets. That's where all the food is at. Streets, kid.
It is a lot of that. I lived in Jacksonville. It's a lot of food there, and honestly, it's really not super. It's probably one of the cheapest places, like near the ocean, where you could live in any place. Like, I used to live right in for a period of time. I lived in Atlantic Beach, like maybe 4 miles from the beach, and super. I mean, if you had a place like that in West Palm, where Chris is at, it would be outrageous. So, I mean, it's still affordable living there. Now, you start getting down to Ponte Vedra, it's a different story. But yeah. Guess that's all we got for tonight. I know it's getting late out there for Mr. Lawson over there, and I need to get some food in my belly. I don't know if you guys realize, but like a lot of times when I get on, especially when it's a Sabbath, I'm not able to do a lot of stuff. So sometimes I'm like, I'll just wait till later, and that way I can cook something up or grab something. So I need to get some food in my belly. Yeah, well, right now, honestly, it's been super hot out here in LA too. Did Taylor or Bob answer? Oh, I will be writing them tonight to try to get them on the show. I'll let you all try to. Well, I'll tell Chris once we go off who he's talking about when he says Taylor and Bob. But that way, I'll let you all keep guessing to try to figure out who I'm trying to bring on here for next week. If I don't bring them on here for next week, more than likely, I will be bringing them on to the What I've Been Thinking channel, which it will be on the Rockfin also. So for those on Rockfin, you guys won't have to do anything different. Just come back to our Rockfin channel to be there. And if you do follow any other place, whether it's on was it Periscope? It would be the What I've Been Thinking with Marcus Cage Twitter. So I forget about the Periscope all the time because it's been so shadow banned that like hardly anybody even watches it anymore.
Correct.
I mean, occasionally we might get 10, 15, 20, 30 people. It's nowhere like the 400 or 500 that we used to get, every other video. Or sometimes we've even had some where it's been like a couple thousand. But yeah, it's been cut down to nil. I mean, even a lot of people who follow me on there don't even see my tweets anymore. So yeah, I don't even really bother that much.
Like it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. Can't do nothing about it. Everyone have a good night. Great show as usual. Thank you. We appreciate it. Say Bob's Burger, Bob the Builder Burger, Lord and Taylor. You'll find out later, Yipper. You'll find out later. Mr. Street says, y'all be safe and keep your head on the swivel. Exactly. Follow that advice. Good night, everyone, and stay praying and preparing for anything. Hit the like button. Yes, please hit the like button. We don't ask for any money. Just, if you guys can hit the like button, that goes a long way towards helping get us in the algorithm, get more people watching, and actually get some of the stuff that we talk about, some of the subjects that we talk about out into the ether.
Coming through. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, so much love, so much love for everybody out there, especially
everybody in the audience.
My boy
Thank
Misha.
You, appreciate y'all coming through.
Oh yeah, Misha. We will me and Jose will be going live tomorrow we're going to be doing some for Hebrew apologetics. We're going to be talking some of the stuff with the royal family and British Hebrew Israelites in connection to the royal family. So we're going to be talking about that, and then keeping my this one for what's the name for Hamza. We're going to be I definitely want you to come check that one out, because we're going to be breaking down some of the stuff. A man by the name of Roderick X, who's from the Nation of Islam out of Seattle, some of the stuff he said. So we're going to be critiquing some of the stuff he says, and if he's not speaking, in accordance or in line with what Nation of Islam's beliefs are, please correct us on what we're getting wrong with that. I do have up his back and forth that he had in the what do they call? Can't even think of it. Clubhouse, in the Clubhouse room, WAC 100's Clubhouse room, and Roger X of the NOI, Nation of Islam, was going back and forth with Captain Tazariak of ISUPK, Guerrilla Hebrew, or Chief Priest Al-Azhar, and Hassad Karab from Sakari, and then I think Divine Prospect and Captain Tazamah was there also. So I would hope that you'll check that out so you can hear, because he did not do a good job representing the NOI. I'm not being biased. He just did not look good. So maybe you can kind of give some better understanding. Yeah, I'll get with Jose tonight, Misha, and I'll be putting that up soon.
Fucking Canelo won.
I knew he was gonna win. If Sakara wins. Let's see who
and he won by unanimous decision.
Oh, really? Nice.
Ugh.
Denver.
Canelo.
Thank you. So kind of you, Denver.
I hate Canelo. I don't like him.
Hey,
but I mean, he's a good boxer. I mean, but he's a bitch and he be running from people too. I just had to put that out there. I mean, he used to fight hard. Yes, Misha, Mexican Blake Griffin, that's him. I don't like him.
That's a good one. I've never heard that before, but that's so fitting.
But that's how he looks. That's a fact.
John Jones is coming back to fight.
Is John Jones fighting tonight? He put
I don't
the coke
think.
away?
No, he's coming back. Put the coke away. That's so wrong.
I know it is. My bad, John Jones. Don't come look for me. You'll bust my shit.
Yeah, or no, come for him. Don't come for me. Hey, remember Red's Pop?
Yo, I'm about to say we got another Friday moment. Yo. With this too old man? No.
All right. Well,
okay, December. Okay.
All right. Well, y'all have a good one. Hopefully, y'all have a great rest of the weekend. Have a good week. And for those who are for Hebrew Apologetics, make sure to check that out. We will be going, I believe, sometime in the morning. I'm not sure. Morning for me. I don't know. I got to talk to Jose and see. But yeah, make sure to check.
You know what? I wanted next week, Marcus. We'll bring this up so we could talk about it more in depth. But I wanted to talk about like the black lady on MSNBC who was talking about Kevin Samuels and Tariq Nasheed and the black men who follow them.
Was it Joyanne Reed?
No, it was. I never seen this.
Tamara Hall.
No, it wasn't
maybe
her.
Somebody new. I don't know. I might not know.
Yeah, it was somebody I've never seen before on MSNBC. But I do want to go in there and tear them down. So next week, I'm gonna come in hot, and then after I get that off my chest next week, then we get back to the jokes and shit.
All right. Yeah. Hamza, I'll DM you. Let you. The one which I put that one up maybe a couple of days ago, and then I'll DM you when we do the one on the NOI, Brother Roderick X. So that said, this has been a Political Matrix. I'm one of the hosts, Young Morpheus or Marcus Cage, whichever you like. and my good brother, friend, and colleague, Mr. Cy Lawson, signing off. You guys have a wonderful, thank you so much for coming in. And if you're new, please subscribe, please the notifications,
Hit like or leave comments cursing us out, telling us that we're
yeah,
trash.
good, bad, whatever, let us know how we did. And also, as I say all the time, please, if there's topics you want us to get into or talk about, please bring it up. We will talk about any and darn near everything. And you guys always teach us stuff too. So please just keep the communication lines open between both of us.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys have a good one.